My friend used my pictures to catfish a guy, so I confronted her.
That means you're hot.
Low key.
That means you're hot.
Kind of a compliment. I am 30, female. Now, this takes place in college back in 2020. Catfish, the TV show, would have had a field day with this one. There was a girl on my course that seemed very shy and quiet, and I befriended her based on our mutual love of colorful hair. I didn't see any red flags at first. In fact, I didn't see any red flags at all until the truth came out. We were on a course for adults. We were not fresh out of school, and I believe she was the same age as me. And let's call her Catfish. Now we're going to call her Katniss.
Katniss.
This is Miss Everdeen. By the way, this comes from user Bunny Blue Fur, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Katniss was a little awkward and for sure struggled with confidence, but as an autistic woman who's no stranger to those feelings, I don't judge. She seemed like a perfectly nice friend. I almost certainly did most of the talking, but we shared the same silly sense of humor and all looked fine on the surface. That is, until I received a message one day on Instagram from a guy I didn't know. It was a couple of weeks or so after my birthday when I received his message. He pretty much opened the conversation by politely but awkwardly asking me for his own peace of mind if I knew who he was. I told him that I didn't. However, upon having a scroll through his Instagram, I did notice one connection. I recognized a photo of his cat.
Hey, I know that cat.
Hey, I know that cat.
I know that cat.
To preface this part of the story, at some point prior to this man reaching out to me, an Instagram profile by the name of Sarah something, the account no longer exists, had reached out to me on Instagram. It seemed like she just wanted to make friends. She told me she was in a band and that her Instagram was somewhat new, which could be seen from how few posts she had. She also wasn't on any other social media. And this girl, Sarah, was full of compliments and always gassing me up in my Instagram posts. The thought had crossed my mind that she was possibly into me, but again, she seemed nice, so I didn't judge despite it all feeling a bit much. I didn't reciprocate the same enthusiasm, but I was kind to her. I'm also a fellow recovering people pleaser. Well, one day, Sarah sent me a photo of this beautiful cat asking me if I'd do a drawing of, quote, her boyfriend's cat for her. At this time, I used to do drawings and paintings of people's pets and pop them on my Redbubble so that the person could get merchandise with their pet's portrait on it. It didn't seem odd that she'd ask for this as my Redbubble was linked and I had posts showing other people's pet portraits that I'd done before. What was odd, though, and this part may have you thinking I'm an unidentified species of was that she asked me to send her one photo of myself holding up the portrait once I'd done it. This is something I would, of course, find really red flaggy these days.
Maybe I'm naive. That seems very innocent to me.
Exactly. I think the only reason that this is red flaggy in hindsight for OP is because she's had this entire catfishing incident happen. Yeah. Now OP's always going to be like, yeah, but are you actually trying to steal my identity?
Yeah.
How did she spin this? She wanted to, quote, promote my Redbubble. And because she was in a band, I believed her. So don't come at me. We're not. Despite her lack of presence on social media, I somehow still thought that she had some sort of reach or something. What could possibly go wrong? I, with no shortage of sent her the photo she'd asked for, and she was really pleased. I'd popped this sweet cat's portrait on my Redbubble and went about my life. Back to the guy who reached out to me asking if I knew who he was. When I replied to him that I didn't recognize him at all, but that I did recognize this photo of his cat as it's the exact photo Sarah had sent me, I made a point to ask him if he was Sarah's boyfriend, which seems logical, right? Yes. He told me that he wasn't Sarah's boyfriend, that he had, however, spoken to Sarah, but only online, the same as me, and that this cat was his cat.
I would be creeped out if someone asked me to do a pet portrait of their cat. I did it, and then later on from someone else saying that wasn't that person's cat, that was my cat.
Yeah, I think just like having a deception as strange as this one like revealed would be like a whoa, like what?
It's not a reality.
Why are you lying so hard?
Thing,
like,
but it's like wait, what?
Yeah, it's like if you can lie about that, what else are you lying about? Like, after some perfectly polite back and forth. He couldn't decide whether to give me the full story. He was a bit embarrassed. He sent me a photo that I'd posted of Katniss and myself on my birthday just a couple of weeks prior. He sent me a photo that I'd posted of Katniss and myself on my birthday just a couple of weeks prior. He asked me if this girl was my friend. When I said yes, he basically told me that he'd been under the impression he'd been talking to me for a while, but he believes it was actually my college friend, Katniss. And I was shocked. Basically, she'd used my photos to create fake accounts with a fake name. She chose the name Emily. She'd made a fake Reddit, dating site profiles, and honestly, who knows what else, all using photos of me from my social media, plus photos she'd sneakily taken of me in person?
No.
Oh my God.
What a violation.
Truly. I remember her taking photos while we were at college and out for my birthday, etc. I found it a bit intrusive, but honestly, I didn't expect that she meant any harm with them, so I didn't think too much of it. Well, now all the sneaky photo taking of me made sense. Katniss was also recording videos of me on my birthday and sending them to this guy, pretending a friend of hers was taking these videos of her. Through talking to this man, I also discovered that Katniss was sending nudie pics that I believe she just found on Google. I don't post explicit photos of myself, so they weren't me.
Or was Katniss posting photos of her body and then pretending that her face was OP?
I don't know, but this, like, it just keeps getting worse.
When
this
the
is
nudie
getting
pics
worse
got in there, it got
and worse.
So much worse.
Yes, not the noodles, dude.
Not
Oh
the
my
noodles,
God.
Not the noodles.
In conversations with this guy who she was catfishing as me, Katniss also included actual photos of my family members, where she'd tell this guy they were her family members.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story.
He sent me the receipts. When I learned this, I was even angrier than I was when I thought she was just using photos of me and some strangers from Google or whatever. Where does Sarah come into it? Well, in case it wasn't already obvious, Katniss was Sarah.
Yep.
I'm guessing the photos of Sarah was some other unassuming girl who was probably actually in a band, unaware that her photos were being used to create this fake account. As Katniss was having this fake online relationship of sorts with this guy pretending to be me, well, as Emily, to prove to him that he was talking to me, she sent him the photo that I'd sent Sarah of me holding up the portrait of his cat. I'm sorry if that's really confusing, I know. But again, I think you're being that hard on yourself. You have the hindsight now, but it's like, that doesn't seem that weird.
I think anyone could have been bamboozled by this.
Yes, you're a victim of identity theft.
Yeah.
If only temporarily, at the time, this worked to put the guy's mind at ease. Of course, because of the photo, it looked like he was in fact talking to me. Sarah had, I guess, reached out to him in some other way at some point too, not mentioning anything about his cat, as the guy was aware of Sarah's account. How did this guy finally find out that he was being catfished all along? He happened to stumble across my actual Instagram and saw my actual name.
Oh, this poor guy.
He, like, just...
To be deceived like that must be so embarrassing. Not that it's your fault, but it's just like,
it just feels like a violation.
It is
just
a violation.
Such a violation.
It is.
He had to scroll through my posts and quickly realized he'd been catfished. He was undecided whether or not to reach out to the real me, but for his own peace of mind, he wanted to know who he'd really been speaking with. Katniss had made one mistake when talking to this guy as me, whereby she'd sent him one explicit video of herself, but very close up.
Okay.
Katniss and I looked absolutely nothing alike, so it was risky for her to send any video of her actual self. I guess Katniss thought if it was close up enough with terrible lighting, he wouldn't notice. Well, Katniss's hand was in the video, and you can probably guess what else, but she had a tattoo on the back of her hand that could be seen in this photo that I'd posted of the two of us from my birthday. As this guy had come across my actual Instagram just a couple weeks after my birthday, it took him no time scrolling to find this post of Katniss and I. That's how he realized that not only was he for sure being catfished this whole time, but Katniss knew and was friends with the girl she was pretending to be, aka me.
Dude, this man has like the photos on his whiteboards with all the connections. There's like a photo of the tattoo.
He's got the
photo
red
of them
string
together.
like
This
going
red string's
across,
connecting
and-
it all.
yeah.
He's like, I think I've been bamboozled.
He's going, Eureka! I see the truth.
The tattoo revealed the truth.
Cackling like Dr. Frankenstein. So, as you can imagine, this revelation was a major shock to me. I truly didn't think Katniss was this secretly unhinged, but I guess I didn't really know her at all. Another friend of mine had also told me that she got a bad vibe from Katniss, as she thought she appeared to be copying how I dyed my hair. To my friend, Katniss was giving, quote, fan behavior. As this guy is telling me what he's discovered, I'm getting some anxious messages from Katniss asking if we could chat. I wonder about what?
I think she just a new lunch place opened and she wanted
Yeah.
to go.
Whoa, what convenient timing, Katniss.
She wanted to go see the new Bob Dylan movie, maybe?
Yeah. I guess that he'd given her the heads up that he'd found my actual profile or something. I finally saw her messages and I asked her if we could video chat. She seemed a little caught off guard, but she agreed. I confronted Katniss about what I'd been shown and she was defensive. I saw a side to her I hadn't seen before. She remained calm physically, but as soon as I told her what I'd found out, she was quick with the attitude. She kept repeating something like, quote, well, how do you know it was me though? So my heart rate was going a bit crazy as I just hadn't seen this side of her before. And on top of this absolutely deranged piece of information I'd acquired, I was just shook. I matched her energy somewhat and told her I knew everything and had been sent the receipts. That being said, I was still way nicer to her than she deserved. Due to the fact that Katniss had also used images of my family, I told her that I was going to report it to the police. Je téléphone les police. I didn't say it like that. Now, after the police were brought up, she was worried. As you like to say, I believe that was the consequences of her actions. The main issue was that Katniss had included photos of me with my mom and little sisters. My mom was the face of a charity at that time, and Katniss had been just awfully abusive to this man behind my photos. I guess whenever she was displeased with how much attention he was giving her, she'd get abusive. The receipts were horrible. I'm talking about wishing illness on him,
no.
being the usual unhinged stuff. Why? And this guy's continuing to talk to her? What's this guy? Guy, what are you doing, guy?
Dude, as soon as like the verbal abuse comes in, paired with the identity theft,
Yeah.
is like, this is getting darker as it goes on.
Yeah, I knew from this guy that he'd been catfished by her, of course, but who knows how many other people she'd catfished as me. Behind my photos and Google found noodle pics of other women, whilst also claiming my mom was her mom. She was just being a cretinous human being. Had that ever come back around to me or my family, it could have been dangerous. Some of the things she was saying to this guy were vile. For all I knew, she could have done the same thing to others who lived in close enough proximity to me that they could have one day saw and recognized me or my family. Spoiler, police considered it a civil matter and couldn't do anything unless we were able to prove financial damages or receipts of damages to my mom's place of work. Fortunately, nothing like that ever came out of this horrible situation. I was already dealing with some degree of agoraphobia, and this was a new fear unlocked, a total violation and betrayal. I went no contact with her straight after that. I hope she stopped catfishing, but I'll never know for sure. But I know something for sure.
Tell us.
That will never stop, which is the full episodes with stories like this that are uploaded on the daily to platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or literally wherever you get your podcasts from. And all you need to do if you want to listen to them is search OK Storytime on any of those respective platforms, and there you have it. You know, we have talked a little bit about her perspective, but let's talk about OP's perspective. Like, clearly, I mean, OP went to the police, did not get anything done there, but it's like, what do you do? Like, do you take things into your own hands? Like a
vigilante type.
So, yeah, because I mean, I feel like people need to know that this person is like, could be out there like stealing your...
That's so interesting. That's so not how my mind works. My mind works like, wow, I am scared. I unlocked a new fear. I'm going to distance myself away from this person as much as possible and hope I never come in contact with them again.
She did delete the fake profiles that she had of me that I or this guy could find. But apparently, catfishing can be addictive or something. So who knows if she ever actually stopped. I hope that me mentioning the police scared her off from doing something like this to someone else, but as I have nothing to do with her, I'll never know. I guess this guy and I trauma bonded somewhat over the deception because we actually started talking for real and grew quite close, ironically. We naturally drifted apart very much amicably some months afterwards, but he was a very genuine and respectful guy. I feel awful to this day for how Katniss treated him whilst hiding behind my face. I hope she got the help that she so clearly needed and didn't do this to another soul. But that is the end.
We went from friends to something more, but now I need to get tested.
Please don't fail.
I emailed 25. I feel like you want to fail that test. You want negative on everything.
Or do you?
John goes in trying to be positive for all those tests.
I'm a positive guy.
100%.
That's me.
I, female 25, have been friends with male 25 for 10 years. I will be calling him N, hopefully for negative.
Nigel.
On all fronts.
Oh,
Nigel.
true.
Ever since freshman year. We had a couple classes together, so it wasn't hard making Nigel a friend. He was funny, smart, very sarcastic, even though he was very quiet and shy in school. I like to believe he was himself around me. By the way, this come from Lesbe Real 98 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So now maybe he grew a crush on me as well as I did for him, but even though I am sure it took some big guts to ask me out one day after school, I rejected him.
Oh.
Boom.
Ouchie.
I didn't reject him because I didn't think he was cute or attractive. He is an amazing guy. But I respected the amazing friendship we had made that I was being selfish on my end because I didn't want to lose it. I, of course, told him these things and how I felt about losing his friendship if something didn't work out between us, if we were to be in a relationship. He, of course, took some time and distance towards me, which I respected. Second semester comes and things are kind of back to normal. We never spoke about it again after that, which didn't seem to bother any of us. Our friendship was still cool. In between the years of high school, we both had our boyfriends/girlfriends and would even share some of our relationships to each other. So they're still friends.
Sharing about their relationships or sharing
I
the
think
relationships?
sharing about the relationships, you pervert.
Aha.
We got even more closer. Double, what is it called, Sophia? Double superlative, double something. Anyway, more closer.
Even more superlative.
You would
or-
say
closer.
even more close or even closer after graduation because we were older and had accepted the good friendship we had. I was there when we have parties with family and our friends. His parents seemed to like me a lot too, and they would ask him to invite me to more family events. Maybe the parents are trying to get them together. Our friendship was genuine. Moving forward to 2021, he ended up moving out of state because of his work. We, of course, would still stay in contact and always would make time to get together and hang out when he was in town for holidays or family events. During that time, I was in a very serious relationship with my ex, who I started dating in 2016. I moved in with him in 2018 until 2021.
Wow.
That is a serious
A
relationship.
serious relationship. When I ended my relationship with him, for context, Nigel at the time had no idea I ended my relationship and why. If I told him right then and there, then I know it would have been a problem. Why would it have been a problem? The reason being is because I ended my relationship over domestic violence issues, where I ended up putting my ex in jail. Wow. So I kept it a secret until a couple months later after he had moved away. He even came into town to check on me and see how I was doing, so I updated him with everything that had happened. Our friendship stayed, the same updates here and there, until I decided to join the gym. Nigel is a major gym rat, so he's buff too. When our friendship slowly started evolving into something else. Towards the end of December, so starting January of this year, we kind of acted different, especially towards me. I'm a shy person when it comes to liking someone, so it was obvious I had grown some feelings towards him. I am certain he sensed it too.
He's working on those glutes,
Yeah,
right?
making them
getting
sore.
his cakes up.
Oh, my cakes are sore from yesterday.
Ooh.
In February, Nigel took a big step, confessing himself, since he asked me to be his Valentine, even when he was out of state. He made sure his presence was there by sending me a lovely bouquet.
That is a big step because he's already been rejected once.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you guessed it, we started talking romantically. Let's go. You can say I've been over the moon with him. This man has been trying. The true definition of if he really wanted to, he would, because I can feel that he does want me.
Oh, God.
Everything was good until recently, a couple months back, he sort of started showing somewhat yellow to reddish flags. I'm not sure if he started getting insecure since he was away a lot because of his job and was maybe only able to come down 2 to 3 times in the course of 6 months, which to me, I didn't mind waiting to see him. I enjoyed our time together and apart as well. Plus, it was only going to be temporary. I liked this guy, even as close to loving him.
Whoa.
Yeah, the big L.
The big L.
How he was with me, how he treated me, and him in general as a person. I've known him for years and have been an amazing friend, if not my best friend. I fully trusted him until now.
No.
We thought everything was good.
I had to take the glasses off for that. I thought we were going into happily
Well,
ever
you don't want to
after.
see this.
Our big, buff, beautiful, big body man.
You want to be blind to what's coming next, John.
I am blind.
Honestly, rip out your eyes too while you're at it.
Oh,
Throw those little eyeballs into some acid.
God.
Let them dissolve because you do not want to see where the rest of this story goes.
Let there be happiness in the world.
No, John. Only acid eyes.
All right.
So-
Give it to me.
The beginning of September, he went into, let's call it internship, where he didn't have contact with the outside of the world for training for part of it. This lasted almost 4 weeks. I, of course, was still sending him messages here and there to update him, even when he was away. As soon as this man was able to get a hold of me, more like his phone, he bombed me with questions after questions. Some were goofy, almost like joking to get a giggle since we haven't been talking, and some were pretty serious. And those questions, he put a lot of what ifs, like what if he cheats or vice versa. He went as far as to randomly ask me how many guys I've been with. Just wondering. I was caught by surprise because I've always been honest, and we have talked about us not really getting into detail about our past, mostly because I strongly believe it doesn't matter. Knowing how extremely jealous he can be, I double asked if he was sure he wanted to go that route. He said yes, and so I told him, do you see an I see you in this?
I see all the U's.
I see all the U's. I see a
So
bunch of
many
red
U's.
flags.
Hi.
To tell you he was upset would be an understatement. This man was probably foaming at the mouth. Nigel was going bonkers because I mentioned that not all guys treated me like crap and admitted I had 2 men that treated me nice and even brought my standards higher in a good way.
Oh no, there was people who treated you nice and made you realize your self-worth.
This man was not taking it well, claiming I was glorifying these men that I had been with. This turned into an argument that left a sour taste in my mouth about how immature he was, acting about something he wanted to know so bad, also demanding I should be saying F every man but him, and also put a what if situation that if I were ever to speak to him again, I would be disrespecting him. Even if it was a short high from running into each other at the grocery store. Again, all his scenarios in his head. Now, for what felt like forever, the next 2 business days seemed to be calmer until there was a I need to tell you something.
Here we go.
Cheating.
Here we go.
Cheating.
But are they even together?
Yeah.
Are
I
They're,
mean,
they're
she's-
almost at the I love you.
But I thought they were kind of like, I thought they were just seeing each other. Are they in a relationship? Because I don't remember it being like official. I remember like him asking to be Valentine's, but I don't remember.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I don't remember like.
Good point, but it's clearly not
They're clearly
a friendship.
romantic.
It's
yeah.
clearly romantic. And again,
But have
OP's
they
close to
had-
saying I love you.
Have they had the exclusive talk?
That is yet to be seen. That is
Saying
yet to
I
be seen.
love you before the exclusive talk is wild.
It's hey, people are poly. So,
What does that have to do with that?
well, you could say I love you to someone, and if you're poly, you would
Then you're
still
not
go.
exclusive.
then you're
I
not
guess.
exclusive.
But there's no
Yeah.
intention of
Nigel's the-
exclusivity there.
Nigel's the type of guy to be like, I've got so much love to give.
Mhm.
I just couldn't keep it all to myself. I don't
mean,
want to be
he's a
selfish.
beefcake. He's a beefcake. He's
I'm
so
a beefcake.
strong. He's got to share his love with as many ladies as possible.
I'm blowing out the candles on this beefcake.
Mm. I need to tell you something. It was a text from Nigel. I was at work, and when I got it, I had 20 minutes before my break. Well, let's just say this man did not wait for me to even reply back, and he just straight up blurted it out. This man confessed to me about him having, what do I say?
Spicy bumps.
Love bumps.
Love bumps.
He's got the love bumps.
Down south, all around.
He's got braille on his
Bone.
bone. He's got braille on his
Braille
bone.
on the bone.
He's got braille on the
the
bone.
bone. Oh, brother.
Yeah. He's got little pecks on the P.
And the pecs on the
He's got mounds on the.
No, we think I need 3 or 4
Come on, give me
more
one,
before
Pia, give me
we
one.
get back to it. Also, how did he not know before? Did he just find this out? Like,
No, he for sure knew.
He's got lumps on the log.
also, how did she not? No,
Well, you don't know.
I
You
guess
don't know.
can hide it up. Spicy
Well,
blisters.
Spicy blisters.
Sorry, I had to say that one.
God. Backstory. Last time he came into town was 4th of July weekend. Yes, you can guess it. We had spicy sleep for the first time too. So here I am 2 months later getting told by this MFer knowingly knew he had the love bumps and still never said anything to me about it.
Get him out of here. Get him
Get
out.
that lumpy log out.
Send it down the river. Leave it to the beavers.
Katara Rain said he's a rib for her pleasure.
Eyes. Oh. Send him to the orc cloud.
Orc
Rip his
cloud.
bumps apart.
He went as far as not wearing protection at first, but then I pressed him about wearing one, so he did.
Thank
but
God.
still, he took that choice from me. He also dropped this info while not being present face-to-face of this conversation. This is serious crap. He knows how serious and precautious I am about these things because we've had multiple conversations about this. He had multiple chances to openly tell me about it because I would ask about it. I also even went as far as to go get checked before going into something with him for the safety of both of us. We had both came back clean, but no, he kept this detail from me. The excuse being I should have said something sooner, but I was afraid of this outcome and kept pushing it back.
No.
No, he was afraid that she wouldn't want to sleep with him, which she wouldn't have.
He also claimed he was planning on telling me back in July weekend, but forgot about it.
Oops.
Just slipped my mind.
I forgot.
How the F do you forget to mention you have frickin' log lumps to the person you claim to care about? Exactly, you don't. I feel betrayed from my best friend and from my partner. Not only that this man was being so ignorant about my whole situation. Never once was he worried about my health or to offer to check myself because, like he called it, you should be good because it's not active and I haven't infected anyone or had an outbreak since 2023.
Wait, he's had it since 2023?
And he hasn't said anything. Also went as far as to say it's not a big deal. It's not like HIV or how, well, 80% of the population have it. They probably just don't know. Like if I was going to be okay joining the 80% club, like it's an effing sorority club. Also, not educating me about it. I mentioned to him 3 times until he sort of blurred some fun facts, acting like this is Blue's Clues. He really had me there asking for myself instead of him telling me about it from the start. And before you guys asked me if he got it maybe when he moved out of state or cheated, and that's how he got it, or maybe didn't know until recently, nope, this man got it since 2017 when his girlfriend then was cheating, sleeping around with several guys, including him. And this time I thought we were close, but he had this secret of him, which, okay, I can understand to wanting to keep it from a friend, but I think it's okay to not tell me about it when I became a lover and someone they just had spicy sleep with is insane and taking the choice for me. If I wanted to not have spicy sleep with him, or at least more safe spicy sleep knowing all the risks that can happen. No, instead he chose for me. How can I ever trust him again or anything he says? Oh, I know I will never ever again. Nigel has been feeling bad about the whole situation, but so have I. It took me 3 weeks to process it fully. My sleeping schedule was ruined because of all the thinking. Not only that, but I also lost my appetite. He has been love bombing me nonstop, flowers, letters, cute messages, etc. while I've been leaving him on red pretty much to talk to himself. I don't care.
That's right.
Well, I'm sure he was worried about where we stood. So these past 2 weekends, he has surprise visited me and his family because his family is giving them 4-day weekends, which I don't believe. But yet again, I don't believe crap he says anymore. The famous surprise visit he claims was him showing up at my front door with more flowers and an iced coffee at 7 a.m. on a school day for me. I go to college. I accepted them for courtesy for my mother since she's the one that let him in. So here I am standing in the living room with the person that literally mentally and emotionally effed my head up and no one really knows about it. I walked him outside and told him there was no need for any of this and to stop love bombing me and to not show up again or I will kick him out next time. He was begging for a chance to hear him out in person and I said, fine, I'll text you info on where to meet.
The police station?
Yeah.
I would love
That's
to
where I
meet
report
him
this
there.
man. I let the weekend pass by until Sunday. I sent him a message of time and place, and before I headed out, I had shared my location to a few of my friends, and one specific one had instructions that if I didn't text back after 12 to call the police. I took out my gratata. Yet it may sound all crazy, but I was not going to risk going alone at night with someone who I thought I knew better. So I showed maybe 15 minutes earlier to check my surroundings for my context. I don't know about bringing a pew-pew to this situation.
Other protective devices, sure, but
I think I think that if you're that worried, then you should go with someone else.
Yeah, or just, he doesn't deserve anything.
Or don't go at all.
Yeah.
Like either show up with someone or don't go at all.
True.
So I showed up maybe 15 minutes earlier to check my surroundings for more context. It was our town's closest lake. Why meet in such a
true crime city?
Yeah, like go and I don't know. I feel like go to
cafe.
Cafe or something. So I asked him to meet me at the deck.
This
is literally where the mob boss. It sounds like she's about to do a hit.
Yes.
Yeah. She's like, how do you like
she's
some
like, it was for my protection.
Shows? Yeah. Tonight, you'll sleep with the fishes. You'll be a lumpy log at the bottom of the lake.
That's a boyfriend.
To tell you I thought this through, you bet I did. This man does not know how to swim.
Oh my God.
So if it came down to self-defense or anything like that, I'd have maybe an 80% chance to get out of it alive. You could just meet at a public area instead of like unaliving your ex. It's scary being a girl in this world and having to think these things, but I am done being naive. Then meet at a coffee shop.
I don't understand, because I understand why OP would be afraid in this situation, but why put yourself in this situation?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless we want to take care of business.
Nigel showed up, so we started talking mostly because I kept pushing it to cut the BS and get straight to the point of it all. This man did not say anything that would have made me change my mind, so I told him I wasn't going to sit here and waste my effing time any longer. To crap I've already heard from him. He was still very confused on what was going on and what was going to happen next with us. Like there was an us anymore. Regardless, I let him down gently, sparing you guys all the extra details. I told him, even though I wasn't certain about how I will get past this, I had no intentions on continuing anything with someone that I cannot trust, and I simply don't see them the same, since I am very disappointed that not once did he really think about how this would affect me or what it would do to me. Instead, not only neglected being honest with me from the start, but also even after he told me he was absolutely ignorant about it. I know. What?
Push him in the lake.
Yeah, I don't know about that, John, but at least, like splash him with some water. I know he needs a dose of reality, a cold, hard dose of reality. I know I asked the question, but now that I got to write most of it down, I will absolutely be okay with being the a-hole in the story because I will be cutting ties with Nigel. But you should never cut ties with us by joining our live every weekday at 3 p.m. PSD right here on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Just have our profile.
Oh, yeah.
There's another relevant update, John, but do you think OP is making all the right moves in all the right places?
Packing seems, again, to what we were said a few times, like, why even bother yourself dealing with this scoundrel? Like, just be like, even in this case, like, usually I think it's, in many scenarios, it's good to communicate on the phone or in person, but this one, just be like,
why are you dealing with him? Why are you I mean,
you don't even have to explain yourself.
Yeah.
At all, unless you want to just make sure he gets the message loud and clear to like not come back, which I guess she kind of had to do because he was insisting. But like,
and OP, like, also go get tested. There's also a good chance that you don't have it too.
Yeah,
like even if he was, I don't know, had an outbreak, you could potentially not have it. So,
well, they said they used protection, so
they didn't use protection.
They did.
I thought they didn't.
No, she was saying that he initially was like, no, let's not use, and she was like, no, we're using it.
Yeah, but just go get tested.
But always get tested. Yeah.
And I hope you're okay.
Yoinks.
But people deserve honesty when it comes to something that can potentially cause you harm health-wise, and the fact that he doesn't see it that way is not my problem. I told him about how I hope the next girl he tries to talk to, he mentions it before spicy sleep, at least on the third date, since I wasn't the only one he told after he had spicy sleep with them. He told his previous ex before me a year into the relationship, and she allegedly didn't think it was a big deal, so he also expected me to react the same. Heck no, this man is delusional, and in conclusion, F this man, but not really, because you shouldn't. And that is where that story ends.
Wow.
Is
that the end of the episode?
I think. Did you already read 3 stories? I thought you only read 2.
I don't think so.
I think we only read 2.
I think we need one more. Close them out.
So let's close it out. Wait, do we not get the test results? I guess not.
Yeah, I was waiting on the edge of my seat the entire time, and I'm like,
I was hoping. I think there's a good chance that she doesn't have it. If he hasn't had an outbreak or something. So fingers crossed for you, OP. But just get tested.
Yeah. My goodness. All right, boys and girls, are we ready for
Also,
our final?
get routinely tested. Like I get tested after every partner.
Make it a habit.
Yeah, it's a good habit to do. And it seems like weird and scary at first, but it's actually very, very easy and chill.
Make it a daily ritual.
I mean, I don't know about daily ritual, but that's how you stay clean.
Aren't you a big fan of daily rituals?
Yeah. Also, yeah, I am. But also protected spicy sleep. Then you could do your test of like a common partner, and then if you're both clear, take that off.
Save your daughter 2024, and we'll keep it for 2025. Don't you worry.
I'm kidding.
Oh, but easy though. But let's get into this next story.
My best friend accidentally saw a spicy pic of my girlfriend. I think I'm ending our friendship.
Spicy, ooh la la.
All right, so this is kind of a weird situation, and I know the logical answer is to cut him off, but it's really hard for me to do that. He's my only friend, and I'm an awkward guy. Outside of him and my girl and my family, I have no other friends. By the way, this comes from user CertainCut313 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So this all started a little over 2 months ago. Me and my friend were chilling and I was showing him some stuff on my phone. We were going through my camera roll because I wanted to show him something, and it was in my hidden folder. I opened it without thinking, and a bunch of pictures that me and my girlfriend took together when we were bored popped up instead. They were months old and I forgot they were there. Otherwise, I wouldn't have opened the folder. Either way, he saw it for a split second and I quickly moved the phone away, laughing and saying sorry about that. And to all those watching, let this be a lesson. Be aware of your camera roll. Be aware of what is on your phone. This is 100% OP's fault.
You literally went like, look, oh, wait, oh,
Don't look at that.
look at that, my bad.
Either way, he saw it for a split second, and I quickly moved the phone out of the way, laughing and saying sorry about that. He asked, what was that? And I just said my girl likes to take spicy pics with me because she finds them hot. I don't know. Nothing too explicit, but they were definitely for my eyes only. He asked to see, and I said no. He was like, oh, come on, man. Don't be like that. I laughed it off and told him to drop it. He did at that moment until he saw my girlfriend in person and wrapped an arm around her when we said hello. Obviously, she was confused and pushed him off, asking what his problem was. He laughed and said nothing, but he was blatantly staring at her chest. She shrugged it off, but it just pissed me off. I told him to knock it off, and he said he wasn't doing anything. Since then, he always asks to see something on my phone, and normally I just hand it to him because I have nothing to hide on my phone, but I found myself not being able to trust him and asked him what for. He said that he wants to look at the screenshots of the PowerPoints I took in class. I told him I'd just airdrop it to him, and he says he doesn't want them in his camera roll and it'll be quick. I handed it to him and let him take a quick look at it for a few moments as I went back to playing my game. But I noticed he was typing a lot on my phone when he was just supposed to be looking at pictures. I stood up, pretending to grab something from my bedside table, and saw him swipe out of the hidden folder after failing to guess my passcode to unlock it, and then scroll through my camera roll for the photos. A few seconds later, he said, "Oh man, I can't find him," and handed it back to me. So, it's obvious he was trying to unlock my folder to look at the photos of my girlfriend, and it just pissed me off. I also want to confront him, but I don't know what to say. I also suck at confrontation, and it's scary. And like I said before, he's my only friend, and I don't want to piss him off and make him leave. Well, dude, this is not a friend you want to have. It's plain and simple.
Would you rather have one really gross and weird bad friend or just your girlfriend?
I'd think that your girlfriend would be upset hearing you say that you have no friends when you have your girlfriend, who I would hope you think of
That's
as
your best
also
friend
a
there.
friend.
Yeah.
Anyway. My girlfriend doesn't know he saw a glimpse of the photos, but I reckon she doesn't care because she told me once she showed her friends the spicy content because she thought it was hot and wanted to show off. Whatever. I don't know what she showed them, but it doesn't bother me. My friend trying so hard to get a look at them does bother me, though.
I don't like what the girlfriend did. I don't know if she asked for consent. She's like, I showed spicy videos. I don't care. And I know he doesn't care, but like that's one thing I'm like,
Yeah, that is something. If you're going to show stuff like that,
consent.
especially to like mutuals, like if those friends that you have are friends that OP knows,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Yeah.
You should make sure that he's crystal clear okay
I'm going to
with
put a
that.
little like flag up on that one. If she asked for your consent and you said, okay, that's fine.
We do have an update. So let's get into it. So I went to see my girlfriend before she finished her shift, and while I was walking her home, I told her about the entire incident. I told her how we accidentally saw one of the photos we took all those months ago and told her how he's been really weird about wanting to see more. She said he was being weirder than usual, but never would have guessed that. She wasn't mad at me and understood that it was all an accident, which was good. I was scared she would think I showed him on purpose and get mad at me, but the opposite happened. I also asked her if he had been weird to her behind my back or if he said or did anything to make her uncomfortable. She said not that she can think of. And I mentioned the time I saw him staring at her chest in my old post, and she said she barely even noticed. She just always found him annoying, and she's glad that I'm starting to see the same thing. Guess I was just blind to his weirdness. I told her I'm cutting him off, and she said she'll support me all the way, which is good. And really quick, just to clarify, there's nothing wrong with being weird. This particular brand of uncomfortable behavior
this is gross. This is not weird. This is
not really acceptable.
Yeah, it's the gross weird.
As a weird guy, I have plenty of friends.
As an awkward guy, I have plenty of friends.
But this goes past weird.
It's just gross. It's gross. The fact that he keeps pushing. He's like, I just want to look at it. I just want to keep looking at it. Dude, stop.
Let it go, dude. Better yet, get your own girlfriend. I haven't spoken to him yet. Quite frankly, I'm a bit scared because I'm about to cut off a half a decade long friendship, so I just need a bit of time to process it. But I haven't spoken to him in a few days. He has no access to my girlfriend. We don't live together, so there's no reason for him to show up at her house or anything. He sent me a text 3 days ago and I haven't responded. I don't know if I should just block him or talk to him in person. My girlfriend says that she wants to scream at him for being a weirdo, but I don't want him getting in her face if something happens. So I told her I'll be doing it when we are alone. I don't want her getting involved if things get down to it. Oh, if things get down to it, OP says. Which, by the way, you can always get down to it with us every weekday at 3 p.m. PST when we go live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. Just tap on our profile and you're in.
But you know what? We might be live right now. But don't check that out just yet. We got a little bit more. And then you can go.
You got just a little bit left. They're a little bit younger. Friendships inevitably tend to come and go. There is an ebb and flow. And this person, even though you've been friends with them for 5 years, is not displaying the characteristics that one should value in a friend. You know, he's not respecting your girlfriend. He's not respecting your boundaries. He's not really even respecting you. He's got no respect for you. And who's to say, you can cut him off real, be mature about it. Don't go off the handle. Just be like, look, man, your behavior is unacceptable to me, and I don't think we should be spending time together right now. And y'all will drift apart. But you never know what the future holds. He could completely change and grow as a person, and then y'all would be friends again.
I think maybe if you guys have a conversation and he apologizes and he stops the weird grossness stuff and apologizes to your girlfriend, like, hey, I'm sorry, I acted like that way. People grow up, people mature. But again, if he's still continuing the grossness, then yeah.
A second thought on what you just said, this is really the only friend that you've had. There are plenty of people out there who will be your friend, man. I know it. It's hard to make friends because it's scary, like you said. But everybody's scared. I think it's easier once you realize that literally everybody out there is scared of the exact same thing, which is talking to a stranger and trying to make new friends and putting yourself out there. Pretty much everybody is uncomfortable in that scenario.
You got your girlfriend, and she has friends. And they may have friends. And guess what? It just branches out. They have friends. They could be your friends. Or, it just keeps going.
Find a hobby that you enjoy. I personally love pickleball. And the pickleball community is fantastic. It's a great way to meet new people and make friends.
I love baseball and sports and video games. Look at that.
We've known each other for 10 years, folks. It's beautiful. Let's finish this story. I also plan on going to therapy to get some more confidence because some people in the comments were saying that I need to work on my confidence and issues on being alone. And I know that it's true. I've been holding back from doing so for many years, but I want to make things work with my girlfriend and I want to become a better man for her. So if something like this happens in the future, then I'll be quicker to act rather than prolonging it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but therapy, just a general note, therapy is helpful for pretty much everyone who does it if you've got a good therapist that you connect with. Once again, thank you for the advice. It was so obvious in hindsight, but I was holding back a lot and I regret it so much. And that is the end of that story.
Okay, I have a couple end notes there. One, to everyone out there and to OP, you got to know what you're showing with your photos.
For God's sakes, be aware of what's on your camera roll.
And then 2, accidents happen. That's okay. Sometimes you show your photo roll and oopsies. If you're gross, don't be gross.
He wouldn't let it go. It's just gross and incessant and not cool.
Not okay.
You know, the reality is that a lot of adults have adult pictures.
Yeah,
With other
it's your
adults.
phone. Yeah.
You know, it didn't start with the smartphone. That's been going on for a long, long time. Like, I'm pretty sure there's like little naked paintings in like cave paintings.
Again,
spicy pics have been going around for a long time.
But-
just know if you're about to show your friend your hidden folder.
You just be wary of what you're doing. 2, you can make friends. Friendships end, but you can make new ones. Don't be afraid. And I know it's like that's a confidence thing.
Go to therapy, and maybe the therapy can help you work on your confidence.
I kicked my best friend out of my wedding. Now I feel guilty. It's a long story, but I would like to write it down and hope to hear your opinions on how to handle this situation. My husband, 31 male, and I, 27 female, got married a few months ago, and it was truly the most beautiful day of my life. However, there's one thing I look back on with mixed feelings. By the way, this comes from Lovely Anything 1997 on the OK Storytime subreddit. I've known my best friend, let's call her Allie, 28 female, for about 15 years. My parents were never fond of her and believed she was a bad influence on me, but I really loved her. We've been through a lot and grew up together. When I got serious with my now husband, she struggled with me settling down and no longer wanted to go out every weekend. She, on the other hand, kept partying and had a new boyfriend from time to time. It's not a criticism or a reproach. We just naturally grew apart and didn't speak for a few years. Although I missed her at times, it also gave me the space to grow into the person I am today without her influence. In the meantime, I've made new friends who are in similar stages of life, and together with my husband, we have formed a wonderful group of friends. Love to hear it.
Yeah, life's going good.
3 years before the wedding, I received a text from Allie. She missed me and wanted to meet up. I accepted, and even after 3 years, it felt like no more than a week had passed since we last saw each other. We rekindled our friendship.
That's so sweet.
I love
And
that.
that's how you know it's like real friendship. If
Yeah.
you go on, like,
If you don't
know,
talk for a
for a
while
and then you come
yeah.
back and it's been like
I have
feels like
friends
a
like
week.
that. Yeah.
Me too.
That's great.
Yeah.
However, I noticed that she needed more regular contact than I did. She texted me every day and wanted to meet up several times a week. I didn't desire that anymore. I preferred to spend my weekends with my husband and occasionally catch up with our friends. At this point, I hadn't gone out in years. This had been replaced by cozy dinners or get-togethers with other couples or family. Allie hadn't really changed and still went out every weekend. My husband and I regularly invited her to join us for dinner, and her boyfriends were always welcome too. However, it became increasingly unpleasant, as 9 times out of 10, Allie ended up arguing with her boyfriend at our table and wanted us to back her up.
That's so awkward.
It's so awkward.
They're just like calling each other names and they're like,
Like, you're the
who's the
worst.
asshole?
We're like, these guys back me up, right?
Yeah, and they're
Nope,
like,
he's like-
well, I'm just trying to eat my cake in peace. What's going on?
We were very uncomfortable with that. When my husband proposed to me, Allie was genuinely happy for me. However, she often joked about whether I was sure he was the right one for me, and that she could always arrange a getaway car for me on the day itself.
That's
oh my
pretty
God.
rude.
That is rude. I laughed it off. She kept pushing me to be the maid of honor, but I had already decided that this role would go to my sister, who I'm very close to. I knew Allie would be very disappointed, so we decided to give her the role of MC instead.
That's sweet.
She's
I feel like there's some.
Hey, everybody!
Everybody,
How
who's
we
the-
feeling tonight?
Who's the a-hole? Me or my partner? Like trying to pick sides in the wedding.
My family immediately objected, saying it wouldn't be a wise decision. Unfortunately, they were right, but I really wanted her to be involved. During the wedding preparations, she repeatedly expressed that she thought it was a hassle, and she even asked me twice if I was sure I wanted her to be our MC. Of course I do, I would reply. I feel so foolish for not realizing that she might have been trying to back out of it, and that I mistakenly thought she was just feeling insecure.
Huh. Yeah, if she is like, this
She's like,
feels
"Are
like a
you sure?"
hassle, and
Yeah.
I would be like, okay, so do you not want to?
Yeah, do you not want to do that?
Which is like fine. You don't
Yeah.
have to.
It was only in the last few weeks before my wedding that things took a turn for the worse. She started gossiping about my other friends, claiming they hadn't done enough for me. She kept mentioning how much she had to spend on my bachelorette party, even though my sister paid for most of it, and that she would get back at me if she ever got married. Again, I brushed it off with a laugh, even though it left me feeling very uncomfortable. I was very busy planning my wedding, and this is where I feel like the a-hole. I really didn't pay enough attention to her at that moment. I didn't take her seriously enough. In retrospect, I see that this role was far too much for her, but I didn't realize that at the time. I feel really guilty about it.
Okay, well, some compassion for OP. Like,
I mean, it's not OP's. You would hope that if your friend was feeling overwhelmed, she would come to you.
yeah, and you're in the midst of like
You're
about to
planning
get
it- yeah,
married.
you're
There's
planning
so much
yourself.
in the air. You're not, paying attention to every person involved in the wedding.
Yeah.
There's so much to juggle.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 days before my wedding, I invited her to dinner, just the two of us. I wanted to go over some wedding details and enjoy some drinks together before I embarked on married life. That evening, she told me that my husband might have cheated on me during his bachelor party.
Oh, she just spreading tea.
Spreading tea. I laughed and asked how she had come to that conclusion. My brother and father were also at the party, and I couldn't imagine that anything like that would have happened. She said that a friend of hers, whom I didn't know, had seen my husband at the club and suggested that they had spent the evening together. Although I trust my husband, it was unsettling to hear this just 3 days before my wedding. I confronted him about it, and he burst out laughing, assuring me that he would never do such a thing. It may sound naive, but I never believed for a second that Allie was telling the truth. I recognized it as yet another attempt by her to create drama, so I didn't pursue it further. I don't know if I would immediately go to my husband or I think I would tell him that happened, but I wouldn't come from like a did you cheat? I'd be like she's been spreading all this stuff, and like I don't believe that, but like
Well, I'm saying like even after she talked to her husband and she was like, okay, like I've come to a conclusion, I trust my husband.
sure.
It seems like she would then talk to the friend and be like, why the F are you spreading lies?
That's a good point. We talked about it with other friends. Weeks later, everyone else denied that it had happened. The night before my wedding, she called me crying. She sobbed for hours, expressing how envious she was of me. She longed for a committed relationship, a good job, and a comfortable home. I felt guilty and tried to calm her down, but in the end, I didn't go to bed until midnight.
Why do you feel guilty?
I don't know. It's
Where's
just
the
your
guilt?
life.
You're just living your life, doing your thing.
On the morning of my wedding, she arrived completely upset. After drinking a few mimosas, she said to my mother, "God have mercy on me to survive this day." Just before the first look with my husband, she spoke to him briefly.
Oh, no.
Girl, no.
No, it's going to get worse.
She mentioned that she didn't think my wedding dress suited me at all and that it looked like a curtain. My husband ignored her comment and didn't tell me about it until weeks later. That's honestly so fair. I would not tell her that
you're
day.
Not like,
Be
on
your
the wedding
friend told
day,
me. Yeah,
your
no.
friend doesn't like your dress.
I would not say that.
Yeah, you don't add stress to the bride.
Allie walked around completely stressed. As terrible as I felt for her, I didn't pay much attention to it because I truly wanted to enjoy my wedding day. Where Allie as MC should have handled everything related to receiving the guests and playing the right music, my siblings took over that role. Things went wrong after the ceremony. Allie came to me crying, yelling that I needed to hurry because we had completely deviated from the schedule and nothing was going the way she wanted. I calmly told her that's just how weddings go and that she shouldn't shout at me on my wedding day.
Yeah, Opie's just chilling.
Opie's like, it's fine,
like,
dude.
we're good. We're having fun.
Yeah.
And Allie was like, ah.
I walked away because I didn't want to create a scene and went to take portrait photos with my husband and family members. While taking these photos, some guests approached me asking if I could please go and talk to Allie because she was upset and only I could comfort her. I would not tell OP this. I'd just be like, you know what? Someone else handle it.
If I see like a bride's friend freaking out, I'm not going to go to
I'm not
the
going to go to the bride. No.
on her wedding day and be like, you need to take care of that.
You need to take care of this right now.
Yeah.
No, she can go cry. Here, too, I might have been the a-hole. I refused and told them that she needed to sort it out herself today as it was my wedding day and I didn't want to deal with all the drama. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Allie sitting at a table crying. 3 guests were standing around her and her shoulders were shaking. Instead of feeling pity, I felt angry and frustrated and started to cry. My husband noticed it too and asked what I wanted. "Just send her away," I blurted out without thinking for even a second about the consequences. And so it happened. She was sent away.
Oh.
I mean, that's a lot, but also I totally understand. She's literally taking up every moment of this wedding and making it about herself.
Yeah.
It's, but yeah, just send her away.
Like, imagine like you're crying at a wedding and they're like, get out.
Yeah. You're bringing down the vibes.
The vibes need to be high.
Yeah.
And these are low.
These are low vibes.
Get out.
At that moment, I decided to ignore what was happening and focus entirely on the wedding. We danced outside with the guests, dined for hours at a long table, and enjoyed the beautiful speeches. I look back on that day with so much love. But Allie and I have not spoken since then. Now, months later, I realized the impact of my actions. I didn't see that this role was too much for her. I was selfish and completely focused on my wedding. I think you're allowed to be selfish about your wedding.
It's not even selfish. It's just like, you need to put all of your brain into planning your wedding. That's like a huge thing.
It's literally a day about you.
Yeah.
I mean, and your partner, but it's about like you guys.
We trust as adults, friends with other autonomous adults, that if something is too much for us, we could bring that
Express
to
it.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had sent her away from her best friend's wedding, and that must have been incredibly embarrassing for her. Despite Allie's actions, she is a good person at heart. She has so many wonderful qualities. I used to have a lot of fun with her, and I could always rely on her for support. I feel that I made the wrong and particularly harsh choice by sending her away during the wedding. She didn't deserve that. My husband says that he fully supports the decision to send her away, and that if I hadn't said anything, he would have kicked her out anyway. The venue manager told us that things like this happen all the times at wedding, that there are often cases where a drunken uncle or even parents have been sent away, and that we shouldn't take it to heart. I noticed that others, our friends and family, understand the decision, but also find it uncomfortable and quite intense. So now I'm just trying to reflect on this situation. It's clear that my friendship with Allie has changed significantly over the years, and both of us have grown apart. While I was focused on building a life with my husband, Allie may have been struggling with feeling left behind. This may have contributed to her behavior leading up to my wedding. Sending her away was a drastic measure, and while it was a response to a culmination of frustration, it can also be seen as a lack of empathy towards someone who is struggling. I think I have every right to enjoy my wedding day without unnecessary drama, but it also feels harsh to cut her out without considering her feelings in that moment. I'm wondering if reaching out to Allie could bring closure for both of us. Would it be worth it to contact her, apologize for how things ended on my wedding day, acknowledge her feelings, and express regret for how I handled the situation and the impact my actions may have had on her? So, am I the a-hole?
Okay, so
Yeah, what are your thoughts here?
OP is taking on a lot of
Blame.
a lot of her friend's experience as her own. Like, even if it's true, her friend feels left behind. If she, is her life's not going the way she planned and all of this stuff, that sucks. It's perfectly like kind and empathetic to feel bad for your friend in general and to want to support her, but to take it on as your own isn't serving you, and it's not serving your friend.
Absolutely.
It's taking on other people's crap as your own, which is not gonna lead to any positive outcome.
Yeah.
And then also, it's not like your friend was struggling and then that was it. It was that she was struggling and then
and
also
making it about yourself and
added so much more
gossiping.
complexity to it and was acting in completely inappropriate behaviors, like spreading a rumor that your husband cheated on you.
Yeah, this wasn't
right
an
before
isolated
the
event.
wedding,
Yeah.
which is so inappropriate.
Absolutely.
And so, one, her struggles aren't your own, but it's okay to want to support your friend, and that's sweet. And then two, like, it's not just struggling. Her friend was, interfering with the wedding.
Yeah.
And then three, like, sending her off might have not been the best decision.
But it is a decision that you made.
Yeah.
And I do think that I agree with everything that you said. And I also think that if OP is still thinking about this, it seems like a considerable amount of time has passed since the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I think if she's still thinking about it and it's still weighing on your mind, I think you could totally have a conversation with
For
her
sure.
and say, hey, like, this was what was going on with me. And it felt like you were putting a lot, and I didn't know how to handle with that and stuff. And you could have a conversation with her, but just know it, like, you are not at fault for her behavior.
Yeah.
My friend thinks she nailed her dream job interview, but I know the truth.
Oh, were you the interviewer?
Did you? You were like, I didn't hire her.
Wow.
I used to work on a small team for a division of a multinational company. We used to primarily be staffed by what were called old-timers, basically people who were close to being of a pensionable age, but who didn't want the hustle. That culture shifted, and a lot of young blood has been brought in. By the way, this comes from Oh Lord, Not Friday. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. I formerly worked there and was given a lateral move out. A colleague, Tina, still works there. Recently, an opening for director came up, and Tina came to me for help. She's been doing overtime and working hard to get noticed for this position. She's well qualified for it and has extensive experience at the company, so she was given a chance to interview for it. Tina is a single mother who has overcome poverty in childhood, discriminatory bigots in the industry, and worked hard to support her kids. She has health issues, but always fought hard. Tina is tenacious and hardworking, but there are issues. She struggles in some areas, and while she'd definitely make a great director, as she's contentious, kind, and courteous, the role is evolving and may be a bit of a stretch. Nonetheless, I helped her with an application and presentation. Beyond being colleagues, she and I are friends. We spend a lot of time outside of work together. We're the only women of color in our respective areas and share a lot of deep feelings and thoughts. She worked hard and put together a good presentation. I was really proud of her. She presented this morning at 9:30 and got through it and was out by 10. Most of the other applicants were internal and interviewed yesterday, but one person was recommended by a senior VP in a different department.
Is that the truth that we're looking at here?
Yeah. The guy who was recommended is a 30-year-old hotshot. I think he may actually be in his late 20s. He will soon graduate from an Ivy League MBA and is the definition of corporate style. They gave him a last-minute presentation slot immediately following Tina. Yeah, so he knows a guy who already works there. He's this like Ivy League grad.
Yeah. Is this me?
A man.
Is this me?
I attended all of the presentations. I am not on the hiring committee, but was there to support Tina and see how the presentations went. When the hotshot gave his presentation, it wasn't even close. The 20 of us sat in the room and were dumbfounded. Not only was his presentation visually appealing, but he noticed details none of us ever did. And he developed a pitch that was so innovative that our AVP asked to use a tagline he created. Oh, so he's qualified too.
So
Okay.
he like slam dunked it. You know, that's just what happens when you're a detailed-oriented person.
His technical analysis was so spot on that it was spooky. He understood issues facing our business unit without having to be told and had ready solutions to solve the problems. Questions they asked him were more about how he'll do things when he takes over the role. It was made very clear to him that this was his job, and they even provided an unofficial tentative start date. It is very clear that he understands the industry and his past experiences, such as professional work experience, as well as winning top case competitions and academic awards, prepared him very well. The presentations were in totally different leagues. After he finished, he made a self-deprecating joke and took questions. He thanked us and left. We all sat there for a minute chatting when the AVP very loudly told the HR director to offer significantly above the salary and hammer out a start date immediately and get a contract signed. The VP who recommended him knew him from the MBA program, as the VP is a case coach there. He said he'd be his reference, and they are all skipping formalities and going right to the offer. Tina has no idea.
Yeah.
She was
Of course she
so
doesn't.
she was so happy with her performance, and she's sure she nailed it. She did well, about as well as the other candidates, but this guy is out and out in a different league. Just based on that, I too would hire the other guy. She's sitting on cloud 9 at her desk and planning a celebratory dinner to celebrate her performance. She was told decisions would be made in a couple of weeks. At this rate, it's likely she'll be informed that she didn't get the job well before 5 p.m. I really don't know what to do or say. If she asks, should I be honest about this guy's presentation? Should I avoid her the rest of the day? I want to support her, but have no idea how to even begin talking to her.
Oh.
And there is an update. I think OP has two options here. Either if you think that they're going to tell her by the end of the day, you don't have to say anything. If they wait any longer, I feel like as her friend, you could just be like, hey, you know, like I was in the room. I don't think they're going to go with you.
I feel like you have the opportunity right now
Yeah.
to let your friend down easy.
I agree. Like
you should just tell her.
Yeah. Lordy, where do I begin? I need more help. The guy they wanted took the job, way more than they initially wanted to spend. My friend was devastated. I followed the advice here and told her she did a great job and how proud I was of her, but the other guy did an amazing job and I didn't know what would happen. She was confident that she was going to win. She had more experience with the company versus his experience in education. At 4:55, she got a call thanking her, but that they went in a different direction. HR offered to meet to discuss how she could improve and to stabilize working relations with the new guy. Shortly thereafter, it was announced company-wide he had agreed to take the job and they were thrilled. She took the following couple days off and didn't respond to text or email. She just completely took some time away. Fair enough. She returned mid-next week and found out that he wasn't going to start until a couple of weeks later and that she had time. Then a company-wide email went out announcing that not only had he finished the final requirements for his MBA and took first place in his final case competition, beating every other school in the country, but that he was starting sooner than anticipated. A lot of emphasis was placed on his Ivy League education, which really irked Tina. He would come in occasionally before his start date to meet with senior executives and his team members and push them to get unvarnished thoughts. A lot of them really complained about working conditions on the team and major obstacles they faced. A few really told him the unvarnished truth. His start date rolled around thereafter and the hype was real. He hit the ground running and his first week was incredibly busy. On day one, he held an open meeting where he came in and immediately banned weekend emails. Great stuff.
This is guy. I'm sorry, you were not gonna beat this guy.
Yeah, you can't beat like free ice cream at lunch guy.
Listen, we always love an underdog story.
Yeah. Some teams were expected to check, respond to emails 7 days a week, gave staff commensurate working hours to the rest of the company. We never got summer hours or flex time, which he immediately changed, and followed up on promises made by previous staff. He rolled out new processes, budget models, and is a far more effective advocate for the team. So much so that all the old-time staff have become his followers. Damn. A lot of people were worried about being fired. Performance has been way down, but we're already seeing a glimmer of hope. This man is the Messiah. The cuts he made preserved his staff, meaning they have a little less cash to spend, but a lot more bodies doing the work. All told, they're better off now, 3 weeks in, than we were this time last year. The staff love him. He's very approachable, informal, and because of his connections to senior leaders in other departments, that team gets a lot more attention than we used to. Our old boss was sweet and kind, but she was incredibly ineffective. I'm considering transferring back into that unit because the working environment is better than where we are now.
I don't know why that's so
It is. It's funny that that's where we're at. We're at that point.
The problem has become Tina.
Come on, Tina.
She's tried to question his leadership. Tina, don't be the freaking Judas in the company.
Tina's being the person's like, excuse me, teacher.
Et tu, Tina.
I have the homework assignment.
Et tu, Tina.
Yeah, I did the homework assignment that was due today.
Yeah, it's like she's this.
Tina's trying to start a coup. She's openly annoyed with colleagues and feels like she's the only person who sees the truth. The value in the new guy is his ability to change. Our team works in close collaboration, and their team is a lot more productive now than before and are getting better quality work done. They've started conversations with old clients, and the business funnel has grown. VPs openly comment that he'll be moved up in short order. Yet, Tina holds a horrible grudge. It is obvious with how she interacts with staff and colleagues. She complains when he's not in the office and complains when he is in the office. I know of at least a few people who are growing weary of this, and two have asked me to say something to Tina since we're friends. Another threatened to go to HR. Dang. And I threaten you to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime.
It's true.
And there is a wee bit left to this story, but Tina girl, you're jealous, and it's green is not a good color.
Yeah, it's really
on you. Green is a great color.
It's like it would be hard. I've had like some jobs I really wanted that if I then had to see like the person who got it instead all the time.
Yeah.
It would be rough, like earlier
Absolutely.
in my life especially.
But it's like you can't. For all his connections and Ivy League education, the guy is also a really strong performer. He has an activity board up showing process and change, and people feel less dour. Except for Tina.
Yo, this guy sounds like the perfect guy. I want to be friends with this
She's
guy.
complaining nonstop. It's impacted our relationship to the point where I've been avoiding her. It's been 2 months since she found out and 3 weeks since he started, and I feel like enough is enough. That said, she's a single mom, and I don't want to see her fired for being silly. I'm really not good with confronting people. I don't know what I should say, and there is a comment, maybe multiple. Comment 1, I have seen plenty of people react poorly to a disappointment in their career, and this bad behavior put them permanently out of the running for future opportunities. As a friend, you could say to Tina, preferably with respect to a specific behavior, I understand you are disappointed, but complaints like this are going to give people a negative impression of you. You can also try to set limits on how much complaining you're willing to listen to during your non-work time. But the more urgent problem, it seems to me, is to keep her from losing her job over this. Really, her supervisor or manager should be the one talking to her about this.
Yeah.
If they are thinking of firing her, then they should be talking to her about the problem and giving her a chance to get it together. And reply, the worse she acts, the more it justifies their decision. Absolutely. As also, you need to have a conversation. If she is your friend, have a conversation with her and be like, hey, people are noticing. People want to go to HR about your behavior.
Yeah.
Like, tell her the truth.
And it could be, as long as you move with the right intent and the right energy, it's like, it's not like you're going to be like, Tina, like, you're making me look bad. Or like, Tina, you need to get, it's like,
it's
Tina,
just like, I don't want you
love
to lose your job.
I want you to be secure. I want you to keep this job because like, if you keep being this negative force, it's like, he's probably not going to have a choice but to like let you go. And also he's such a seemingly good boss that if you did just keep crushing it, you're probably going to get rewarded for that.
Yeah.
So just keep your head down.
Tina.
My friend wore an offensive Halloween costume. I might have to cut her off to attend the party.
You should probably cut her off.
We'll see how offensive it is. So I want to start this off by saying we do live in the U.S. And while I know the term I'm going to list off, now that I've researched it, is not considered offensive in places such as the UK, apparently here in the U.S., it is considered a slur.
I have already changed it. So it's going to read as like in the little asterisks.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it?
It's we'll read and you'll
Okay.
get there. And I'll
I,
explain
female
them.
21, have a friend my age who loves dressing up for all occasions, especially Halloween. This year, she was inspired by our local festival to dress up as a pirate, but not just any pirate. An Amazon Prime labeled the costume a pirate.
And which is a slur for Roma people.
What should I
Just
say?
pirate G.
A pirate G, but that sounds like cool. Like
A pirate G slur.
a pirate G slur.
I don't know. Yeah, no. That is how you'll have to refer to it.
By the way, this comes from Worldliness Old 229 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, a group of us decided to meet up for a picture at a church trick or trunk with some of our kiddos, and another friend of mine, male 23, complimented her on her outfit. She went all out with jewelry, a hat, swords, fake scars, etc. I mean, what if couldn't she just like...
She could have just relabeled it. Like,
couldn't she just say I'm a pirate?
I'm a cool pirate. Yeah, she could have just said she was a pirate.
Or I'm a vagabond that travels.
There was a lot of different ways she could have said that.
Yeah. When she later posted pictures on social media, she captioned it actually calling herself a pirate G-slur. I thought nothing of this, as I really never cared for what a G-slur is. Not being mean, I just never thought about it in truth. Hours after this post, there was a text screenshotting her post sent to a newly made and separate group chat without this friend. It was, "Let's go with Jay from the trick or trunk." He was absolutely livid at her for the post, saying he was grossed out by her insensitivity and outright racist behavior. To be fair, I don't think a lot of people know about this.
I honestly don't think a lot. I think I wouldn't leap to immediately be like, "You're being racist." I'd be like, "Hey, just so you know, this is considered a slur by Roma people." I
asked what in the world he was talking about, and when him and another friend explained to me why it's considered a slur to the Romani people, I agreed her post was not good, but I highly doubted she knew of this. This isn't someone I could ever see being outwardly hateful to really anyone for anything, especially not on social media. Yeah, a lot of people are just not educated on this.
Yeah.
And also there's like stuff on TikTok where people will be like, that's a slur, and then it's actually not a slur.
Yeah.
People... I got shat on for saying picnic on TikTok, which is totally not a slur.
Yeah,
but
it's just...
people were like, "How dare you say picnic?" Because there was one video on TikTok that went hella viral about picnics.
Yeah.
This isn't someone I could see being outwardly hateful to really anyone for anything, especially not on social media. Another friend suggested that if I was so confused, maybe she was.
Yeah.
That it could be an innocent mistake and an issue of just not knowing. Jay, however, claims that ignorance is not an excuse for a full display of cultural appropriation and racism. I think it totally is an excuse.
I agree. I mean, I think there are different types of ignorances.
Yeah,
too.
This is not hateful ignorance.
No.
This is I accidentally dressed up as the wrong thing.
Yeah, and
no,
didn't know this was...
It's I actually titled my dress up of the wrong thing.
Yeah, I think there is types of ignorance where you were raised ignorant and you are, hating on a specific group of people just because you were ignorant of the world, and that is a problem. But I think this ignorance is I literally didn't know that was a slur because not many people know. Not many people. I mean, language is constantly evolving, and we're constantly discovering, more information about how to be more inclusive.
Yeah.
And language that we use today, like queer, is now a, very popularly used term. But it was offensive.
A decade ago, it was offensive.
Yeah. So I think it's just being, obviously, if someone's being outwardly hateful, call them out. But I think it's just being kind and informative when telling people about things.
So Jay, however, claims that ignorance is not an excuse for full display of cultural appropriation and racism. He may have a point to that, but I would really like to message this friend to speak to her personally on this, just to get her perspective. But he says it's too late for any of that, that she's not special and shouldn't be forgiven whether she knows what she posted was harmful or not. He says she is no longer invited to tomorrow's Halloween bash, and he is going to block her on all social media forums, not wanting to associate with a racist.
This is too far.
That's too far.
In my opinion, this is too far. This is I feel like if you want to be actively, anti-racist and actively working on that and stuff and trying to better the world, you have to sometimes, especially like for white people, you have to inform people.
Yeah.
Like that's our job is to educate ourselves and educate other people, I think.
Not just, and also if you completely block this person out,
Yeah.
you have stopped the education process.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, well, they're not going to learn now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say he's blown this way out of proportion because we don't even know what her intentions were.
Yeah.
Well, they don't, but I do, because I messaged her. I asked her why she chose her costume. That's how I found out about the Renaissance Fair inspo and the Amazon Prime costume pieces. I haven't even told her about Jay and the rest of the group chat yet, and she literally said to me, oh, the costume is a G-Slur pirate on Amazon with a screenshot. Does this prove I'm right? No. Does this kind of open the door to the possibility I may be right? Yes. So I want to wait. I don't want to just cut someone off who may not know what they did was anything wrong. Should I tell, or am I the a-hole for not just cutting her off right here and now? What else can I do? And there are some comments.
I think it would be pretty, I don't know. I feel like that's the worst thing to do. Just cut her off without telling her what she did.
Yeah.
Like everyone
she'll
cuts her
never
off.
learn.
And
She'll
she's
just
like,
keep doing it.
What happened? Yeah. No, I think that just tell her, hey, like, some people consider this offensive. Probably wouldn't call that, that. And if she goes, well, I think you're wrong, and like, I don't care, whatever, then she's the a-hole. But we don't know what she's going to say until you tell her.
Also, like, can we hear from, like, I want to hear from the Romani people.
I mean, this is from what I have heard is coming from Romani people.
Like, no, I want them. I want this person to apologize to the Romani people. I want the Romani people to give this apology right now.
Yeah, they need it.
But comments, legitimate net 1294 says, Jay sounds more obsessed with policing other people instead of teaching other people. He has blown this way out of proportion, and it would absolutely make me reevaluate my friendship with him.
I honestly agree.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating to be with people who are so vigilant in.
Well, doesn't allow any room for education.
Yeah. I think there is a time place for that kind of behavior where you're just like, I can't educate this person because they are not willing to learn. And it's, a lot of effort with someone who's actively prejudiced or something. And then there's just like, someone didn't know that a word was offensive, or they've, said something that was a little bit off, and you just cut them off. Like, we're humans. People are going to make mistakes from time to time.
And you're not going to know everything.
Yeah.
Also,
no one knows everything.
I'm almost positive that this person that's cutting out the costume lady, I bet he found out about this like 1 to 5 years ago.
Yeah.
There's no way he's known it his whole life.
Well, I mean, the thing is with children, when they say a bad word or, a swear or something like that, we don't immediately like ostracize them because we're like, oh, well, they're a child. They're literally learning the language. And I think that sometimes we need to also understand that people learn language their whole life. You're constantly learning things, and there shouldn't be an expectation that you know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but we got an update 1 day later. So, small update for you all because I am heading off to bed. So, it's only been a few hours since my last post, and I won't lie, a lot of the comments I've gotten have been really eye-opening and some absolutely hilarious. I already edited my first post to clarify a few things and answer some questions. So if you read the updated version, please skip the below. Is Jay Romani? No. I asked him again. He has no Romani ties he is aware of. Is he the host of the Boo Bash? Also no. This is our second year having a bash. and it is again at another friend's barn. Is Jay a Christian? I'm not sure how that's relevant, but no, he's actually an atheist. Update below. So I decided to take some of your advice and basically message Mia, as we'll call her, asking her about her own version of events. I was worried someone else may have already messaged her, but based on our conversation, I don't think so. To put it simply, she claims to have no idea what the word G-slur even means. How it could be offensive to members of their community, and immediately changed her post to say she was a Renaissance pirate. I tried to take it as a moment to educate, like you all suggested, and she was receptive of that and very apologetic. Thought I explained. I don't feel she had anything to be sorry to me for. I wasn't offended. I have no right to be, but I just wanted her to be aware for the future. Around the same time, I decided not to tell her about what Jay had said, hoping to message him myself and smooth some things over by explaining her perspective. I knew he wasn't open to listening at first, but he had a few hours to cool down, so maybe it was worth a shot. Maybe this didn't need to be a big blow up where someone's feelings got hurt.
I doubt it. Seems like Jay's pretty up in arms.
Well, if there is any chance of that, Jay set that chance on fire and poured on it gasoline when he edited Mia out of the group photo.
What the heck?
Does he need to virtue signal that hard?
This is crazy.
This is kind of, yeah.
This is crazy.
I mean, we understand we shouldn't be saying this word, but
did she say that Jay is, like, what race Jay is? Is Jay white?
Jay is not Romani. Romani. Rumney, as Caitlin Van Haven said.
You guys are giving 50
Now,
different.
in her place was either a big white blurry area or half an eyeball from a poorly cropped selfie. So he didn't even edit her out well.
He didn't even use the
He didn't use
Photoshop AI
he
edit.
just deleted her and left white. Mia saw this and started messaging the original chat, asking Jay what was wrong and if she'd upset him somehow. Remember when he said he was blocking her on all socials? Well, I guess that was a lie because he was still in the chat with her and responded saying that we had made a decision as a group to no longer associate with her.
Which isn't even true. That's just his decision because OP hasn't agreed to that.
I was absolutely stunned. I couldn't believe what I was reading, and honestly, I'm still at a loss for what made him think this was a good idea to say he speaks for all of us, especially where we can all see and find it ourselves. Mia kept typing and deleting, while Jay spam messaged her about how gross her behavior was, and she can't just change the post now. You can't turn back time and change what you said like a coward.
Honestly, I would not be friends with this guy anymore. This guy sounds exhausting.
He sounds insufferable.
He sounds like a miserable person.
At some point, we were notified Mia left the group chat, and I just feel awful for not reaching out sooner. Everyone started to argue with Jay that he was wrong for all of that and really needed to relax. Maybe not speak for the rest of us as we are also adults, etc. The only way he seemed to know how to respond was with, well, I don't regret it. I've said what I have to say.
But you also said what you thought everyone else had to say.
Well, I beg to differ. So that's when I screen recorded the entire Snapchat convo in the group chat he made without Mia. I've not sent this or shown this to her. I'm currently trying to calm her down along with her life partner, who is calling my roommate all confused. Roommate is the friend with the barn. Hopefully by tomorrow, I have a more of an accurate actual update as to whether we think Jay and Mia can and even should maintain friendship or keep in the same circle of friends. Honestly, Jay is going to be one of those people that just cuts out all of his friends.
Yeah. There's going to be a day when you make some sort of mistake and he's going to cut you off.
Yeah. This guy is insufferable. And I just feel like this is an impossible standard.
Yes.
This is an impossible standard that
agree.
he's setting. And also a fundamentally flawed standard for creating the type of world that you want to live in.
Yeah.
If you want to live in a world where people are being respectful of all races, cultures, ethnic groups, what have you, you need to give space for education. If you just isolate, what happens is you have echo chambers that build in popularity and population. Because if you just keep exiling people that don't agree with you, then all of a sudden you have all these people who are exiled instead of educated.
Yeah, I mean, one of the main reasons why we have racism and prejudice is because of lack of education. And so if you're just like, well, I'm not going to do it, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Then you're not going to get the world that you want. If it's purely ignorance and not based off of hate.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel Jay is doing something hateful.
Yes.
Out of a place of like virtue.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of what virtue signaling is. Mm-hmm. It's like being mean by how virtuous you are.
You're like, well, I'm so much better than you, so you can't even be in my presence.
Yeah. Like, that's like, dick move.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I've already decided myself that if this breaks us and I have to choose a side, I choose Mia.
Yeah.
Because everyone makes mistakes. Everybody has those days.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
And I really think that's all her post/costume was. Yeah, I don't think she was doing a hit piece on the Roma people by posting this Halloween costume.
No.
Again, thank you for all the advice, and I will try to keep you all updated as things play out. Sorry for any typos. I am absolutely exhausted. Happy November 1st! And there is an edit and an ad, but Sophia, really quick.
Yes.
What do you think about this whole thing? Is Mia an evil Roma hater that wants nothing more than to see this this traveling community meet their demise? Are they still traveling? What's the update with them?
No, what? I think they're
with the Roma people.
Well, I think it was, from what I remember,
Still
and
Roman.
this could be slightly incorrect. I think it was a lot of Romani people were kind of like, because of political stuff happening at the time, they were like, a lot of them were in poverty and they were having to travel and sell things and stuff,
Right.
to sustain like livelihood. And so then they gained this reputation that was, incorrect and prejudiced. So I think no.
So they're not a nomadic people?
Okay, so from my recollection, I believe there are two uses of the G slur. There are people who are still just travelers, no relation to Romani people.
Right.
And they're like, some people will call them the G slur.
Yeah.
And then there are Romani people who they will also use the G slur. So there's like two sections of it.
I feel like the most common use of the G slur is
just for travel.
Like when
Which
you
is
think of
separate.
a traveling group of people,
Yeah.
you call them this. And then also if someone's like, oh my God, I got totally taken advantage of in my money situation.
Yes,
they'll
and then
use
they
that.
will use the yes.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's actually, or at least I don't think this person by saying this is targeting a group, even though it could be hurtful.
But it historically has been used as a slur for this group of people.
Yeah. But
Correct
are you
me if I'm
ready
wrong about that.
for this next edit? No, we did not just sit by while Jay said our group made a decision. I am not a frequent Redditor / poster, so I kind of made it sound like we all just let him tell her off before Mia left the group. Absolutely not. We immediately started arguing with him, but in all honesty, our messages were kind of lost in the sea of spam texting. He is a short sentence typer, if you will, or a one-worder. We got some comments and some extra stuff. Capital Temporary says he just doesn't like her and finally found something that he could use to get the group to drop her, drop him instead. And Pristine Walrus 40 says, when people talk about toxic people, they mean people like Jay.
I honestly don't even think it's that he doesn't like her. I think sometimes there are people who do virtue signal so hard that anything.
Do you know people like that?
I'm not currently, but I have known people like that in college.
Dude, insufferable.
Yeah.
Must be insufferable.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But we got an update 13 hours later. So I have tried to post this twice now. Please let me know if you see it. So it was less than 9 hours ago. I posted an update on this situation, and already so much has happened since I woke up around 7 this morning. First of all, we have a new group chat that is appropriately called Feels Very High School without Jay in it or his best friend, who's been pretty silent in all of this. We have nothing against him, but we are irritated as he was watching the entire time Jay went off in the group and spoke for the rest of us, which, by the way, I do apologize for not being more clear. We absolutely stuck up for Mia while she was still in the group chat, minus the one. Now that I'm more awake and have the time to type it all out, I will elaborate further on what exactly he said. More fake names below. This is typed out word for word as I'm not comfy sharing the screenshots online. Some parts skipped over for time and reading purposes. Okay. Mia. Hey, Jay. Is everything okay between us? Your post kind of hurt my feels.
Why are we shortening feelings?
Because you
Kind
want
of
to
got
seem
me in
cash.
my feels.
You
The
kinda-
vibes are a little bit off.
Yeah, dude. I just feel like you.
I feel like you vibe checked me really hard, and that put me in my feels.
Yeah, honestly, it feels like you're throwing my feels down my skibbity toilet, you know,
No,
and
it's
flushing.
too far.
Come on.
It's too far.
What do you mean? People say skibbity toilet.
Not in that context.
How do people say it?
I don't know. I'm not in that. I'm not in Gen Alpha.
I know.
I'm Gen Z.
I know more Gen Alpha than you. I know how to.
But that's so
Dude,
so old.
on
Gen Z of
skibbity,
you.
I know.
Disgusting. Continue.
Jack knows. I've learned from him
Ugh.
the ways.
The wish.
The ways. Jay.
Batman.
Don't act like you don't know what you did. I don't believe for a second you did not learn about the G word slur in high school, just like the rest of us.
I didn't learn about it in high school. I learned about it from like TikTok, and then I did my own research.
Jay.
You don't get a pass just because you're stressed or whatever.
Mike. No one cares. Who's making Jello shots? Jay.
And don't give me this nonsense about you going to a private school. They learn it there too.
Mia. Jay, I am sorry. I really didn't have any idea. Are you Romani? I had no clue. Emily, will you calm down? Jesus Christ, it isn't that deep, dude. Jay.
Ignorance and disrespect others is just effing disgusting.
I think this is the perfect voice for Jay.
No one wants you at the party tonight. By the way,
Jay.
we all agreed you should come over if you are fine being so uneducated.
Reddit OP. What the hell? Reddit OP. Mia, we absolutely did not. Mia, Reddit OP told me earlier I changed my post. Jay, I swear it was not on purpose. Mia, you guys have another group?
Dang, that's the worst part of it all. Finding out you're excluded from the other group chat.
Jay, we don't associate.
We don't associate ourselves like that online, Mia.
Jay,
You understand.
Jay,
Okay, no.
Emily. Mia, no one said that. He's a pussy and made another group chat. What do I say instead of, do I say peace slur?
Peace.
Emily, to spew his crap. They're one-word texters too. They're all doing it.
Yeah.
Or one-line texters. Jay,
Because you were being willfully unignorant here. Honestly, it was really gross. Emily, of course you agree with her.
Mike, I'm more worried about my alcohol than I am about this crap. You don't speak for literally anyone. Jay, stop being a craphead. Mike isn't an alcoholic. He's just trying to lighten the mood, I think. That was weird. Jay,
It literally isn't my fault.
Reddit OP. Jay, you better get that stick out of your booty. Jay,
That's a long
She
one.
keeps on saying she didn't know. She absolutely does. And all of you are making excuses for her. Ignorance is not an excuse for her very public display of cultural appropriation and use of slurs.
I
Mike,
can imagine Batman saying this.
dude needs a break.
Joker,
I mean, he's so serious.
culturally appropriating. Stop.
Evan, Mia is not a racist. Quit it. Mia leaves at some point and we go back and forth for a while. Jay,
What if she had said the N-word?
Jay,
She is white.
Reddit OP, are you being serious? Emily, everyone knows the N-word is bad, Jay. That is not the same. Reddit OP, she left, you're a booty. Jay, because she knows I'm wrong. Jay, not wrong.
Oh, so he had a typo. He goes, because she knows I'm wrong. Not wrong.
Later on, Reddit OP, Jay, she really did take this as a learning moment. You definitely need to calm down. You and I both know that Mia would never post something she thought could be perceived as offensive. It was just like we said earlier. She had no idea it was even a bad thing to say, just like I wasn't aware before you told me. This was a mistake, and you have blown this totally out of proportion. I don't know how else to put it or what else she can do other than have changed her post and apologized. Jay said, you always play devil's advocate. It's honestly exhausting. Jay, tiring person. Jay, deleting her post doesn't mean blank to the people she offended. The F? Reddit OP, who did she offend? Emily, who do you know that she directly offended? Jay, she offended an entire culture and race.
And Jay is the only one who could stand up.
Yeah. I mean, someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to be the savior.
Yeah.
The white
Romani
savior.
people need it. Jay is the only person. Anyway, I haven't responded since those messages, but Emily and Mike hashed it out for a bit. Evan is at work, so who knows where his head's even at. Mia didn't say much to Jay, but has been vocal in our Feels Very High School chat. She left because she felt attacked, and she didn't have the energy to deal with all the drama right now. She doesn't know if she will dress up tonight. Jay has pretty much ruined the pirate costume for her. I think no matter what it is called, her life partner is encouraging her to just let it go and have a fun night, while Emily, my roommate with the barn, is pretty certain she wants to tell Jay he isn't invited on her mother's property.
Yeah.
Let's freaking go. She's really upset with the way he just dismissed what we all have been telling him, and we agree his retaliation to what Mia posted wasn't uncalled for. It was honestly insane, especially with the whole blurring her photo out online. I told her I'm 100% on board with asking Jay to stay away if he can't let it go and be civil tonight. Next on the agenda, a lot of you asked if maybe Jay has another personal issue with Mia. I asked. Mia just dropped a bombshell of a puzzle piece before I finished up this post, which she does know exists now, and I'm allowed to share what she said. This is from Mia. I wonder if he found out I didn't lie for him. He left to use the restroom for over an hour again, and they asked me about it. Me and Jay are both med students at the same department, and not enough nurses to go around. Oftentimes they will help. I'm in the medical field, so I don't know much aside from that Mia is apparently the youngest MS they've had in a while. To get patients in a room, Mia said it's important to tell you they do not take vitals without a nurse. They just help them get situated. And Jay apparently has been going off to use the restroom at random times of the day for unusually long periods of time, or said off to help the nurses out again. Mia was pulled aside one day and asked by a supervising physician where Jay went again. Mia said she wasn't sure. The manager later came and asked her also. She was honest this time and said he claimed he really had to use the restroom a while ago. She brushed the interaction off for the time being and went on with whatever she was doing during the time. But here's the part that makes all of this even more relative and really makes me go, Emily says one of the reasons Jay gave her for why he left the church trick to trunk early was he had an important phone call scheduled with his supervisor. Again, not sure how this med student stuff works, and Mia is busy at the moment, so she can't really elaborate further, but we're all assuming that the timeline matches just too perfectly.
Yeah, he got in trouble.
So basically, Mia wasn't going to cover for him, and he is now in trouble. After hearing all of this, I honestly changed my mind. Maybe we should be the ones to go on a blocking spree and cut out Jay from our lives for possibly trying to use Mia's mistake as a way to seek his revenge. Not sure what to do at the moment, but Emily really doesn't want to see his face now if our assumptions are correct, because what the actual hell? Lastly, I do want to add before I go that I will again make edits and clarifications as needed. I hope I explained all that correctly. Let me know how I can help you better understand. Edited to calling myself Reddit OP because me myself just looks weird. And not an update. He outside.
He's outside.
This is coming up, but
Man.
yeah, what do you think about this update? It seems like he's probably just trying to get revenge.
Yeah, I think it could be both. It could be he's upset with her and lashed out way harder. But I also think that sometimes people are just really strong virtue signalers.
Yeah, I could see.
Yeah, I could see him
both.
doing this without even having been maligned.
But maybe, I mean, he has extra incentive to do it.
Yeah, he's like, well, this is my moment.
So we got an update. So not an update. He outside. So we're gonna figure out what that means.
Ominous.
Since some people think our friends group's drama is more entertaining than TLC Lifetime, I've decided to type it as such in my slightly tipsy stupor. Oh, I'm going to leave you all on a beloved cliffhanger. Here is your 8 p.m. update this fine November 1st night. Jay was told not to show up here. Jay is now pulling up here now. Now I say, okay, bye. I'll be back tomorrow at some point. Oh,
Are
like he
you
literally
okay?
outside. He literally
Are you
outside.
Okay? What happened?
Okay.
That's so ominous. So he's like, he's coming. He's outside.
He's outside.
I'm the Batman.
All right. Moonlight Wolf says, honestly, Jay seems very wrapped up in middle school, high school mindset. In med school, you can't just disappear and not tell your supervisor or the attending physician. He should definitely not be allowed at the party tonight, as he was more focused on getting his payback than being a civilized human being. Unfortunately, G-Slur is negatively viewed for reasons I don't want to get into, but not everyone knows that. Jay was likely looking for ammo to fire back at her, and he did. But in being a jackass, he likely just lost a handful of people who have been his friends. If he shows up, tell him that he's trespassing on private property, and if he doesn't leave, he'll get the cops called on him. That marks on his record and should definitely scare him. You can't make a group decision without actually discussing and coming to an agreement. As a group, that's not how that crap works. An OP response. That's exactly how I feel. I don't think this was ever about him even having a white savior complex or anything like that. If the numbers are adding up right, he was looking for something to hurt her with. But that being said, we don't know 100%. This went in an entirely different direction than what I expected. And there is another update.
I need to know what happened with him being outside.
All right,
Is she okay?
Let's get the update. Good morning. Well, afternoon for me. But I also just got over a massive hangover, so it feels like my day is actually just getting started. I left you all off on a poorly typed cliffhanger last night when Jay pulled up to the barn. Emily formally uninvited him as I was typing the last update, part 2, and he opened it but never responded. After a few more hateful messages, both personally and group chats, he went silent for a few hours. No one heard or saw him until his best friend's car pulled up. We hadn't uninvited his friend because although he was in the group chat, no one is really super close to him. It's all around a weird situation, but he seems like a nice guy if we're honest. He pulled up, and when I watched from the side as Jay popped out of the passenger side, that is when I made my last post. We did convince Mia it was okay to wear her costume as planned, and her partner was busy in the nearby house helping make drinks, so he didn't quite see Jay arrive. Jay got out of his car and was pretty quiet. Most of the other people there, friends of friends, a few dates and neighbors, etc., had no idea what was going on, but I swear to God, the air still felt tense, even to a few of them because his body language was super strange.
But he was uninvited, no?
He was uninvited. Yeah.
Embarrassing.
He seemed already wasted, maybe high, but we aren't sure. Despite that, it was fine up until I told Emily he was there and asked if she needed help, asking him to leave. Instead, we decided to wait it out for a moment, see if he would act civil, and then I realized in my tipsy stupor that honestly, someone should have asked Mia if she was comfortable with him being there. She is the one who's being attacked. This isn't just about him speaking for us, it's about his hate towards her. So I straight up asked if she wanted him to leave. She said if he came up to her or made any comments, probably. But she also chose to give him a chance, which he didn't deserve, just to mind his own business. Yeah, she's so forgiving, and he is so not.
Yeah.
Sadly, that is not what happened. Not even close. It was all fine. Again, a little tense, but overall, he stayed in his own lane until a little while later. He seemed even more out of it, taking off the tie to his costume, American Psycho.
How fitting.
How fitting. And losing it somewhere. He became really loud and slurred his words.
No.
I'm assuming his best friend was supposed to be his DD, but also started drinking. And at some point left, not in his own car, still here this morning. We are hoping to hear back from him soon, and I'll let everyone know when he is found safe. So Jay came up to one of us for the first time the entire night, asking to crash here instead of seeing about car service. Mike, who is Emily's boyfriend, said, absolutely not. And then someone, I don't remember who, jumped in saying that Mia was staying the night and that even if she says it's fine, they know it isn't. So all the friends are going to bat for Mia.
Also, it's just so strange to be uninvited to a party, still go, and then be like, can I stay?
Yeah, even after you isolated all your friends.
Yeah, you did this. They gave you multiple chances.
What do you think? Jay is going to be totally chill?
No.
Jay absolutely lost his crap. He started screaming things we could barely understand, but collectively, this is what we put together. Mia, Mia, Mia. Everyone chooses Mia. Who do we all care? She a racist. Looks like a sloot in costume. He also sounded like he was saying something about a tase or a tease, but Mike thinks it was actually tease. Like I said, he was basically gone at that point, and it was even hard to understand when he was asking to spend the night.
So much for his virtue signaling, calling women sleuths.
Yeah, what happened?
Not very virtuous of you.
What happened, bud? Mia's fiance was right behind him. He didn't even know Jay had arrived because he was bartending inside the house. And this is how he found out Jay was there. Not sure how he didn't know sooner, because where the heck did Jay get the alcohol if not at the makeshift bar in the kitchen? Anyway, so he basically grabbed Jay by the back of his dress shirt and started to force him outside. We encouraged a few people who saw to keep partying and followed him to make sure he didn't end up catching a case before we saw him literally throwing up in a tub, those big water containers for animals. Jay shot himself out of there and fell flat on his booty in the dirt, yelling. Mia was full on sobbing at this point. Yes, she was with us, and all of this when all of this went down. Jay started mumbling crap, and Mike took him off somewhere, according to him, calling Jay a car service because his phone was drenched and ruined. Mia was pretty much sober through most of this and remembers things better than the rest of us. Apparently, she did have a brief interaction with Jay when the rest of us were off doing something. He just kind of looked over and rolled his eyes before walking off, according to her. We also found out earlier today that Jay was heard talking about Mia's social media post with a few people there. I'm going to look into this further.
He's just trying to tell anyone who will listen to him.
Yeah.
It's like, you wouldn't believe this.
She has blocked him on everything at the ask of her partner because of all this. I personally don't want to speak to Jay anymore after everything. I don't want a friend like this, and I don't want friends who stick around people like this. Emily and Mike feel the same, while Evan wants to talk it out with Jay when sober first and see what all of this is really about. Truly, I regret even being dumb enough to let him stick around and feel me and Emily messed up by even giving him a chance to be around. I now think we should have made him leave from the start. I will post if we make more discoveries about last night. For now, I'm getting a headache to leave and need a DoorDash. And there is another update.
Man, oh man, Jay doesn't quit.
Jay doesn't quit.
He's just constantly, and it's honestly so not fitting, but like, I don't know.
It's admirable how much he doesn't quit.
No.
If it wasn't just how terrible he was doing the things that he doesn't quit.
I was going to say, I feel like a lot of times with people who virtue signal this hard, they do end up being like
the worst people.
Yeah, well, just like, he's being super misogynistic now. And so it's like there's always, The people who go so hard are pretty hateful.
Well, it's because he's just worried about the perception of being kind rather
Yeah,
than actually
being kind. Yeah, and inclusive.
But we got an update.
Man, oh man.
So we might be at the end of the road,
My friends.
my friends. Jay's friend resurfaced for his car a few hours ago. A lot to get into, but let's just say his family almost got the police involved.
Ooh, Ed.
Oh, wow. Because he went missing for nearly 24
Jay
hours.
did or the friend? Presumably the friend. Because they said that the friend left without his car, and they were like, man, we don't know where he went. So I think
Yeah, I
they're
think
looking
it's
for
the friend.
Yeah.
It turns out the reason he left was not because of wastedness, but because he would have caught a case if he hadn't. And coming back to get his car as we all were cleaning up from the boo bash, he stopped by to spill a few beans on himself. By the way, if you want to spill a few beans with us, you can join us live on YouTube and Facebook every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile.
I'm confused. What's going on? The friend came back to spill beans about
Let's see.
what?
I feel like I'm living an actual TV drama and I might need a sleeping pill. Any suggestions? I feel a migraine coming on and you might too after this. Here comes more "this is so fake" comments. Get ready for it. So, Jay has been having an affair with his best friend's wife.
What?
Before his friend found out about the said affair, Jay confided in him a few struggles of his own prior to the discovery, including that he was not only informed he needed to seek a new practice to complete his medical internship or whatever you call what they were doing for MS, but what Jay said he was doing in the bathroom.
I knew it. He was sleeping with people.
Wait.
Okay, so you remember Jay the whole time was like, Mia wasn't, one of like the supervisors was like, where's Jay? And Jay was always like, oh, I'm in the bathroom. I have to go help the nurses with someone. I bet he was sleeping with people. That's why it was taking so long.
So Jay has a self-diagnosed spicy sleep addiction, and he claims Jay was said to have been beating it off with cam girls on the hub.
Damn.
He also said Jay had a thing for Mia about a year ago, and then she met her fiance, and their engagement about a month ago has sent him into a full spiral ever since. So he actually liked Mia.
Yeah.
Along with that, he actually has had Jay's wallet this whole time, so who knows how the man paid his ride home wherever he went. If this was not my life, I wouldn't believe this crap, but honestly, it's starting to make sense. He says he learned about Jay and his wife's affair because Jay was so wasted and out of it at one point. Him being a dumbass gave him his phone to take a picture of Jay and Evan. In the corner of his camera roll was a completely bare image of this man's wife. I don't know what else to say, but what the actual F. And this is probably the end of the updates because I've learned too much and my involvement with these people probably ends here. Maybe. Who knows? This man is an insane narcissist. Possibly goodbye, my friends. But there's a part 5.
There's a little part 5. Man, oh man. A lot just happened in that last chunk. Yeah, I was
I was not ready for that chunk.
I kind of thought maybe Jay was like sleeping with people while he was going on those long breaks, but
no, you don't got enough time to do that. But
well, I guess he wasn't. He was just going, yeah.
He was just
whacking.
Yeah,
and then he was sleeping with his friend's wife.
Dude, the one friend he had.
Yeah, everyone
Jay has
else left
imploded
him.
his whole social life.
His whole life is gone.
But part 5. You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
We locking in?
I'm locked in.
I suspected this would not be over, and I was right. I hadn't realized it at the time because, as I've said before, no one was all that close to Jay's friend, Zach. Well, Emily got curious and looked up Zach's Facebook again because she got to thinking. She was like, aren't they having a baby? Like, actually? Didn't get where she was coming from at first, but the gasp that left my body.
Jay's baby.
Sweet baby Jesus,
Sweet
help
baby
us all.
Jesus.
Yes, according to his cheating wife's public post, she is expecting. She is almost 6 months along. Now, let me leave you with this image because it is in my head, and I am telling you all about this chaos You're going to have to live with it too. Zach's visibly pregnant wife, belly and all, was having an affair with his best friend for an unknown amount of time. And that poor man found out about it via the image of said wife, who we can only assume, if it was recent, included that baby bump. What the actual hell? I'm not sure it gets much worse, but I'm honestly scared to say that because it just keeps going. Speaking of which, Mia took your advice and sent an email to the supervising physician and the management at said practice. Emily helped her type it up. So basically says Jay is a sicko and a psycho who may try to ruin my reputation in a more professional manner. I forgot to mention, Zach left the wallet with us last night because he refuses to see Jay, but we do too. So how the heck is he getting that back? We do not know.
Maybe just mail it to him.
Yeah. Mail it straight into the sun.
Yeah, take his
Put it into
money,
the Oort
mail
cloud,
it.
as Dakota would say.
Put it in the trebuchet,
Yeah.
fling it.
Fling it towards him. I edited it
That's where
into
he's
my
going.
last update, but Jay also is a self-diagnosed spicy sleep addict, and I forgot to add that is why Zach said he was beating it in the bathrooms. Oh, and prayers for Cocoa Puff, Evan's golden doodle, because she's apparently sick.
Aw.
I'm logging off for the day, so if anyone has questions, you can ask, but you will be waiting on an answer. I do have an actual job, my friends. Goodbye and good morning.
Good morning, good evening, and good night.
Not ready for all of that unlocked.
Yeah, attacking a person for not knowing about, a slur.
Yeah.
It's a full-on cheating.
Really, I thought we were just gonna all have like a nice little educational moment. But
It's Reddit.
it's Reddit. You can never just
escape.
get a good thing.
No.
My male friend hated me for being too feminine, but he transitioned years later. If you see some grammatical errors, I apologize. English is not my first language. Let's clarify some aspects first. I, 21, identify as gender fluid since late 2020, but everything goes back 7 years ago when I met my ex group of friends. I will exclusively talk about this person. Things don't get mixed up. By the way, don't get it mixed up that this comes from Anonymous Iced Coffee on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So Liam, fake name obviously, and I met when we were 13 right after we started high school. I was your typical pick-me girl, and I was really cringy about it, believe me. So anime and games were in our list of common interests. We became friends pretty easily and sat together for the rest of the year. I was a very lonely person before high school, so having friends with my same interests was like heaven. And let's point out that I was the only girl in a group of men at this time. I enjoyed the company of Liam truthfully, and the rest of the group was fun too. But within the first year, Liam told me openly that he really liked me. I already had a boyfriend that wasn't in this group, but he still told me again and again he didn't care about it and he still liked me. Our friendship became weird, but I was really weak back then, and the thought of being left out or alone terrified me to the bone. So when we were hanging out, only the two of us in his house, even if I was feeling uncomfortable and he knew I wasn't into him, he stole a kiss and would keep me close. I am disgusted by this memory, and it was the first sign that I needed to leave this group because many things happened, and not only with him. I know with my adult mentality can blame many things on me, like the incapability of putting limits up or being a needy human, always wanting attention without considering that my attitude and likes were the perfect target for men like me. That is nowhere near an excuse for him to take advantage of you like that. Let's continue. That was in the first year of high school. The rest? Well, honestly, I can't recall anything from the second year. It was pretty chill, honestly, and it was where my Metroidvania obsession started, and I spent most of my time gaming. I can't remember a thing from my social life. Oh yeah, Liam did get a long-distance girlfriend. I felt somewhat relieved. Now he can't like me, right? Kind of mentality. The third and fourth are a drama of itself, but focusing on Liam, we had many conversations of how he still likes me besides having a relationship. There it is.
Oh.
Especially in our third year, but also didn't want to lose his best female friend. He wouldn't even call this woman his girlfriend. I can recall having a strong connection with him in how I didn't consider him attractive and that I didn't like him at all. That kept him quiet for a long while. Good. And when this first long distance girlfriend dumped him a couple of months later, he dated another long-distance girl, but this time he was more loyal, quote-unquote, to say the least. The fifth and last year in my country, high school is in a 5-year time period. It's where things start to get confusing, if they already weren't already. In many instances, we agreed that the stage in our friendship was a waste of time, and we blame hormones somewhat. So yeah, Liam and I were only friends since that year started, and it became one of the best years of our friendship. Lots of honest conversations and pretty good times. Later that year, the second girlfriend left him, and I can say this time that he really was hurt about it. I went to his house by surprise one day and stayed comforting him all evening like the good friend that I was. I remember telling him how happy I was for finally leaving that girl that only made him feel insecure. By this point, we were already in the end of high school, and we started college separately the next year.
Everything sounds a little suspiciously perfect.
Yeah, I don't trust it at all. My college was really close to my house, and I visited him a couple of times. He quickly found a programming job, and I was so proud of him. He really looked like he wanted to progress in life, and I supported him every time I could. One day during our normal monthly hangout, he told me that he had some good news. He had found a partner. She, let's call her Becky, was a coworker that became really close during a shift. When he started talking about her, so excited and hopeful, I was honestly so happy for him. He finally found a person that he could keep close. Knowing his history with long-distance relationships, ha ha ha. I was really proud for him, and I saw him truly happy for the first time in a long time. Now, the next event needs some context. All of my high school social life, I was around men. I was kind of incapable of having female friends because I had many prejudices about them, and by weird geek and otaku nature, there were many instances that often girls made fun of me. So when Liam told me that she had almost the same interests like us, I became excited to meet her, a potential friend. I immediately thought. We chose a day, and the three of us hang up in her apartment. All evening, I felt cozy and comfortable around her, so I inexplicably became happy. For Liam to find such a good partner, and for me that I was feeling confident around a girl. I spent a part of that evening talking about Liam and how good of a friend he was. Like trying to make a good image of him from a person that knows him for a very long time. Much to my surprise, when I came back home, I got this exact text message from him saying, "Hey, a question. Are you annoyed by the fact that I have a girlfriend? In various occasions, you sounded like you were trying to make us fight." Of course, I apologized by making them uncomfortable. If I said something that was improper, that wasn't my intention. I was in the end trying to be nice and just help my friend. He later told me he felt like I was being possessive, and honestly, I didn't recognize myself in those words. Again, I didn't have many friends outside of this group, and Liam was one of my best friends back then, so I didn't have that many friends, much less the type that support you no matter what. Here's where the problem begins. Also, just to really quickly state, Liam has never apologized to OP. Just remember that.
No remorse.
I cannot put in words the spiral of self-doubt this event caused me. I was truly trying to be a good friend, but somehow my words and actions were misunderstood. I've never talked with Liam about it deeply, so there's many unresolved problems still left. Yeah, he hasn't apologized to you, like we just said.
Yeah, hello.
But it doesn't end there. In early 2020, the good old C19 wasn't a serious thing yet. Liam's parents invited my family and I to their wedding anniversary. We, of course, attended. That night, Becky and Liam were sitting together, and I was a chair away from him. Why? Because before the event, I psyched myself up. Becky is going to be there. Act properly so you don't make them uncomfortable again or put a bad image on myself. I repeated that to myself all night long. Maybe OP said something that kind of came out that way, but he could at least acknowledge that she's like, clearly she was trying to be supportive.
Yeah, it seems like Liam's got no tact.
No tact,
No
Liam.
tact, no taste.
Nope, you suck. Eventually, my urge to talk and be with my friends won me over, and I moved the chair next to him because, yeah, I think OP's got, still kind of maybe nervous around people. All night long, he was distant and cold. Very, very unusual of him. So when I approached him to fix his hair, a very usual act of mine at the time, but now I acknowledge that might be seen as a girlfriend act. He grabbed my hand firmly and strongly said, "Stop." I immediately knew I screwed up. I was on the verge of crying. Since then, I only wanted to leave. We texted, even if we were next to each other, and the conversation ended with him telling me, was I going to try to change my feminine attitude or my touchy behavior? Again, this was a very common thing for me to do back then, and later on in therapy, I would figure out that my love language was and still is physical touch. I also repeated to him over and over again, I respect our friendship. I'm proud of you that you finally found someone you love romantically. What else you need to understand that I don't have any interest in you as any more than a friend. But yeah, it wasn't a good enough explanation, I guess. I arrived home and I fell to the ground. I believed back then that everything had been my fault and that being a woman was a problem. Remember that. So later on, we stopped talking. The old pandemic happened. I was stuck in a bedroom all day long, and slowly this group of friends didn't include me on anything. I left my career. I was almost alone on the side of a very close friend that also almost left me, and he made it clear that being a woman was a problem. Also, being needy and touchy too, I decided to find a job and start urgent therapy. My efforts to try and understand in what I failed were unsuccessful in the most part. Many of them were left unsolved with Liam and this other friend that I mentioned, but came back to the conclusion that yes, I had bad things back in high school that needed to be attended to in therapy, like the neediness and the problem communicating with girls, for example. But did I deserve to be left out by my two best friends for being a woman? That caused a lot of damage, dang it! Absolutely. And honestly, I cannot forgive them for that. Not at all. Yes.
Forgiveness is for us, not for them. Forgiveness is what allows us to move past
I see what you're saying.
our own stuff. You can forgive somebody, but that doesn't mean that you forget how they made you feel.
They made me believe that as a person, I was worthless, that being left out was all I deserve. Maybe it sounds exaggerated, but the pain I went through to regain some self-confidence was really long and tedious. I can now say I'm better thanks to my therapist, my boyfriend, and now a better few amount of friends. But I still have trust issues, and I'm incredibly cautious around men now, even though, and I'm still working on it, I am more comfortable around them. Now, I wouldn't be writing this without the reason I became so angry lately. Liam has now identified as a woman. Don't get me wrong, I support trans people with all my heart. That was a very important thing to clarify. I'm conflicted by the fact that not only this person, now Natalie, was able to hurt a person only because their gender and quote-unquote feminine attitude, and now has the audacity to identify as a gender that once criticized and blamed. I'm disgusted, angry, disappointed, and more or less, I feel like all the pain she caused me is now meaningless, that now it's confirmed that I was the bad one, the exaggerated, the drama seeker, the toxic female friend. Everything that somebody said because of my birth gender is true, and I'm angry about it. The self-hate started again right after I knew it. I'm on the verge of crying every time I see myself. My goodness, let's take a quick pause and that I don't quite understand OP's point there.
Thank God, because I didn't either.
And it's not giving anything. I felt like we were coming to a good place, and OP was like getting a therapy, getting the has a boyfriend, was coming to a better place, and it's like I don't know. Yeah, Ghost Blue Nightmare says, so Natalie was projecting then. My read of this situation was that maybe, again, back in time, Natalie had identity issues and had some self-hate, or like hate stemming from her confusion of her own gender identity and not being sure, and took that out on OP, which is not acceptable, by the way, at all. It's not, that doesn't excuse it, but I feel like OP is taking this and is putting it back in.
I don't understand where the revival of the self-hatred comes from.
I
like, just because
I think it's because I think it's because
as a woman.
I think it's because Liam, or in this case now Natalie, like caused so much emotional damage and trauma to OP, like blaming them, and then the fact that they're doing it, and like it was like, do you understand what you did? Now, like I think OP understands like what you said, John, but they just can't come to terms, and like all the just the trauma attached to it, brought it all up. Like, you did all of that, and look at what you did. You literally are the biggest hypocrite I know.
Right.
And
Yeah,
that's just gonna make me like so upset with myself, because like everything you said I took to heart, and now you say, like, you said it, but are you doing anything about it?
Yeah, it's causing it's causing OP to like reframe everything, right? But it's like, I feel ultimately in a extremely unhealthy way. And I thought that OP was coming to a better place, but I don't know. Like
I think it's just shock
it was
as well.
like right
Yeah, the shock.
there, right at the finish line, and
Yeah.
then bag
And
fumbled.
then we lost it.
Fumbled
And then
the
we lost
bag.
I think right now the best, like, OP just needs to, like, genuinely, because it's eating OP inside,
Yes.
is just, you got to have the conversation with Natalie and be like,
Mm.
hey, I need to get this off my chest. You did all this stuff in the past. What the heck's going on here? Like, I think I need an apology, especially with everything going on.
Yeah. And I think, you know what? It seems like this therapist has been helpful. Lean back into the therapist. Harriet Spaghetti says, I think they were traumatized by Natalie, and the only connection, true, the only connection to this current moment is that Natalie came out and is getting affirmed by people,
Yeah.
and the affirmation is triggering OP. That's a fantastic
That's
point.
literally what I was, like,
That's
trying to get to.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Harriet Spaghetti, that is a fantastic point. And
Yeah,
I'm so glad
that's-
you wrote
yeah.
that and that we read that. It's a great point. Yeah, it's like, now OP's hurt and pain, which, again, back to what we were saying before, Natalie never apologized, right? Never apologized.
And I think that's all that's stemming from this. Is literally eating at OP. It's
Yeah.
like, just an apology is all I need.
Yeah. And probably now everyone's like, I'm kind of reading into it, but from Harriet's comments, like, oh, everyone's giving so much, support and praise now. And it's like, well, where's literally my support when you did what you did to me?
Yeah, when everyone did this to me and, like,
No one
practically
was there.
bully me and bully
Yes.
my, like, I get it. I learned from it from therapy, but where the heck was my support, and why am I painted as the bad guy, but Natalie is seeming like a saint?
Yes. Comment of the
Like,
day.
You got
Yeah.
any more? You got any more of that affirmation, please? I'm
Oh.
trying to get some of that. I'm trying to get some affirmation
Well,
that I didn't get.
I can affirm that we're live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. You just need to tap the profile.
Tap
That's
it, and if you're on mobile, you might have to tap it twice. I've learned.
Maybe. Good point.
You might have to tap it.
Might
twice.
have to double tap.
Because you tap it, and then it takes you to our profile. If you're on our profile, if you just tap it. Keep tapping it.
Double tap it. So, you all have the right to hate me for this, but I believe this person does not deserve to be a woman in any case. I hate that she believes that having this new identity is somewhat self-discovery. After how hateful he was towards me, how he managed to put everyone against me in that matter, I have all my reasons to believe that she, when she was still Liam, also managed to tell everyone to ignore me during this confinement and left me alone in one of the most sad times of my life. I hate her with all I have. Now that's all. I am too weak to keep remembering and putting my energy into this. Honestly, this deserves to be treated in therapy for a couple of sessions. I would agree. So if I see that this post has some impact, I'll be updating my thoughts in future analysis. Best of luck to anyone reading. I'll appreciate any opinion and try my best to be understanding and open about them all. I agree with OP that this is for therapy. I think OP,
Little therapy. Sounds
Deep
like you
therapy
got a
work.
little trans hate in there, dog.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
yeah, it's not cool.
But I think that might just be wrapped up in the fact that you just don't like this person.
What happened to OP, and she never got any apologies or affirmation or anything of that nature. But again, I think this is best to, good thing she already has a therapist that's helped her in the past. Dive deep with the therapist on all this. And that is the end of the story.
The expenses for my best friend's wedding keep piling up. I don't think I'll be able to pay them.
Why are you paying for this wedding?
Good point. Let's find out. So I, 32 male, have this ex-friend, 31 female, that I met years ago. Let's call her Rita. We met in childhood, although we grew closer about 5 or 6 years ago as adults after not having any contact for years. Our paths just happened to cross again later in life. I also have another bestie, let's call them Cleo, 29, non-binary. We ended up moving to the same city, and Rita and Cleo became close friends too. We had our little friend group. We shared all our happy times and hardships. We come from the same country, but moved away as adults. There's a lot that we worked through. Traumatic experiences, the pandemic, the loss of loved ones, sicknesses, unemployment, everything. I was quite sure our friendship is strong and would last for decades, if not forever, but I was so wrong. By the way, this comes from user lowkey misomaniac on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, Rita got engaged and told Cleo and I that she will be getting married in summer of 2024. Cleo and I knew this would be a challenge because of all the expenses and organizational tasks that come with a wedding, as well as the bride's expectations. It was supposed to be a 3-day wedding in our homeland. The groom's family is from another country, so we were all supposed to travel to a secluded village to take part in the celebrations. Cleo and I were engaged in many things from the beginning. I also said I am happy to help decorate the venue and travel there earlier to set things up. I was also asked to help with some administrative tasks, which I happily agreed to. All of this was to help save money. My thing is, I don't like weddings, but Rita was like my little sister and I wanted to support her, especially given that her mom passed away a few years ago. So did one of her siblings, and I knew the three of us were like family.
Okay, that's rough.
Yeah, well, I mean, good call being there for her. But it started to get more and more intense in terms of financial and emotional contribution expected from us. We were supposed to go to a different city for dress adjustments and cover accommodation costs. Why do you need to go to a different city for that? Seems extra.
Maybe that's the hot spot.
I think that's what OP's talking about. We helped choose clothes for the groom. We were supposed to participate in a bachelorette trip that was supposed to be a surprise for Rita, although she explicitly stated she wants to go to a place with sun, beach, and a pool. She also told us as her closest friends who she wanted to come to the bachelorette. So it's not really a secret she was the one managing the entire thing. We were expected to cover all of the participation costs for ourselves and for Rita. We started organizing the trip and the travel and accommodation cost was about $400 per person. At least Rita didn't expect us to order tailored suits that we would also be expected to fully pay for. Around that time, Rita sent Cleo and I a message that there is a room prepared for us and our partners at the wedding venue and told us the cost. In case we did not intend to stay at the wedding venue, there was a hotel 15 miles away from there that we could book ourselves. The transportation to the wedding venue that was initially meant to be a rented bus to bring wedding guests from the closest big city to the village, which we were supposed to pay about $30 per person, was canceled. And Rita told us, quote, "There are affordable ways to rent a car." Well, let me tell you that it is not affordable for everyone. And it's apparently approximately 10 times more expensive than the bus ticket, which if my math is right, that's $300.
That's not $30.
Yeah, the math ain't mathing on that.
No.
Not everyone has a driver's license, and some rental services refuse to rent a car if you go to another country. I know because I had to deal with it last year. At that time, I was dealing with serious health issues, had to undergo extensive surgery, went through a cancer scare, and got my job contract expired. Needless to say, I was rock bottom and struggled to even pay my rent. Around that time, Rita's father unexpectedly passed away. We both found ourselves in very vulnerable positions and could not support each other the way we would have liked to. Cleo was also facing possible job loss and financial hardships and had a hand surgery.
Everyone's going through it right now. Mercury was in Gatorade or something. What is going on here? You gotta go down so everything can go up. I'm sorry for everyone in this story. This sucks.
The moment Rita started pressing us about the wedding trip accommodation, which we discussed before, and we both said we will be staying at the wedding venue with our partners, something broke in me, and I said in our group chat that given the amount of support we offer and the expenses we are expected to cover to merely participate in the wedding, I felt exploited. Dang, that takes a lot of courage dropping that in the group chat.
Let's see how that's gonna make everyone else respond.
I felt like certain things in communication about the overall cost was not fully transparent from the beginning, and that there was little understanding on Rita's part that this is in fact a lot of money that we don't have. This triggered something in Rita, and she sent multiple paragraphs saying how ungrateful we are, that she regrets thinking of us as her family, and went no contact.
This is rough.
I'm rolling my eyes though, dude. Like straight up. You're organizing an international wedding. You're having all of your friends organize it, pay for it, make it happen. I don't know if that's just how things roll where you're from, but
it doesn't work like
that's not how that works.
Plus
here, at least.
Plus, on top of that, I mean, it depends. Depends at the wedding and who agrees and what.
I feel like the bride and the groom are expected. Like, if you're doing a bachelorette party, how much of the expenses are expected to be covered by like the bride?
It depends on who. Like, if the bride said, "Hey, if everyone's willing to chip this in, great." But like, that is coming from the person who is planning the party. You know, the bachelor, the wedding. If it's all communicated from the very get-go and that's very understanded, that's okay. But if you're expecting people to be paying more money when it wasn't expected, that's not okay. It just depends on how it was communicated. The one thing...
It seems like she went way overboard in terms of
Oh, yeah. Well,
her
guess
response.
what? Well, guess what? Here's the thing. Everyone is going through it, and she is in a mixed bag of emotions right now.
That's true.
She just lost her father. Everyone's going through it. So it's not fair for her to be pointing the finger, but she's also just in a completely vulnerable state. So I don't know.
Well, let's find out,
I would have
shall we?
postponed the wedding with just everything going on, like, personally.
Let's see what happens. These words were meant to hurt us. I did not expect this to escalate so much. That was already a few months ago. After the initial blowout, I twice sent her a message saying that I'd be willing to meet in person to discuss everything so that we are not communicating in text where details and tone get lost or misinterpreted. I never got an answer. I know now that she was basically going through a meltdown. Due to lack of communication, Cleo and I decided to not go to the bachelorette trip, although we already paid for our flight tickets and couldn't cancel them. We had a heated discussion with other bachelorette participants, which was very unpleasant and difficult. The main organizing person booked a huge villa without the possibility to change or cancel the reservation. I just could not imagine going to a trip where the person we were supposed to celebrate does not want to talk to me, according to our mutual friend. Shortly after, Rita contacted Cleo and I, and we met in person. The whole meeting, she barely looked at me, mostly talking to Cleo. It was a difficult conversation. Rita couldn't answer my question if she even wanted Cleo and I to come to the bachelorette or the wedding. She said that we knew about the wedding for over a year and could have saved money, and that she wanted us to support her in making her dream come true without making objections, and that she found it ridiculous that we're arguing over money.
I don't like that. That's not fair.
That is entirely self-centered, and your perspective is so narrow you can't see past right here.
All I'm
You're
hearing
looking
is
at
me,
your
me,
nose.
me, me, me.
Yeah, you guys could have saved. Did you say anything at all that implied they should be saving because the wedding was going to cost them like $1,000
Well,
plus
you knew
dollars?
my wedding was coming up, so you should have saved for it.
$400, accommodations, $300 rental cars. Paying for all the dresses, paying for the clothes, like.
But again, you knew about the wedding. You knew about the wedding. You should have known. No, things happen.
Flipped back onto you. You knew about your wedding. So if you knew it was going to be this expensive, you should have let people know. That out of 100 guests, Cleo and I were the only ones to complain about the wedding and the cost and the emotional distress. That we could have told her about our financial issues, which we did. That usually if a wedding is happening elsewhere, the guests cover all the costs. No. All right, then I'm going to have my wedding in Fiji. I hope everyone else is willing to pay for everything for me.
Sorry, brother, I ain't paying for that.
Yeah, of course not. That'd be ridiculous. That's when she decided to cover the costs of all meals for our partners. At first, we were supposed to pay for it. We did not even appreciate her generosity. That she did not know how much we were supposed to pay for the bachelorette, since it's a surprise and she did not organize it. True, but she did specify what she wanted, or that we could have organized something cheaper and easier, and she would have been happy anyways, which is not true because she explicitly said that she wants to go away to the beach, to the sand, to the sun, to the pool. Like you wanted a resort getaway.
I mean, yeah, again, at the end of the day, your wedding, your choice. You just got to make sure you understand everyone's footing in this.
She goes on to say that we could have said in the Bachelorette group chat that our budget, we did, and the budget ended up being almost double what we said it should be. Rita said she is mourning our friendship and that she felt like she already made a decision to end it. I want to add that Rita and myself never had a major fallout, and I thought that we would have been able to work this out. I absolutely don't want to take away from what she's been through over the past months, but I'm also learning to set boundaries, and this time, as so many times in my life, I got punished for doing so. A few weeks ago, Rita was celebrating her birthday. I sent her an honest and heartfelt message, apologizing for hurting her, explaining that it was never my intention to contribute to her pain, but that I also felt hurt, and that I would be open to meeting with her in person if she ever had the capacity to do so, but that I will not press it onto her and respect her decision. She said thank you. 2 weeks later, my birthday came, and I only got a very generic, somewhat cordial message from Rita. We didn't attend the Bachelorette. Out of 12 people who were supposed to go, only Rita and 3 other friends went to spend a weekend in a villa for 15 people that we all paid for. If you already paid for it, dude, I'm going.
I would go.
I'll do my own thing.
That's it. I'm going to do my own thing.
Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'd pull a Miles Morales on that for sure. And by the way, Miles Morales, if you're listening, you can always join us when we go live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and TikTok every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. All you got to do is tap our profile until you're in the live. And if you're watching this right now, in the future, we might even be live right now. So once we finish this story, maybe go check on that.
But let's find out more. I mean, before we go and find out more,
We do have a little bit of story left, but I think the whole friend group has gone through a whole lot of trauma in the last handful of, months. So Rita's in a full-blown meltdown. I don't necessarily think Rita needs to, cut off. She's making all these executive decisions.
the fact that you said, I'm already mourning our friendship. What?
You're kind of like, that's an escalation in tension. You're making things more dramatic. From my perspective, OP is being very reasonable. And it wasn't like it was immediate. It wasn't like, whoa, $400? Who do you think I am? Like Mr. Moneybags? It was like the $400. And then like the bus be going from $30 to like now it's a $300 rental car. And like, they're buying all the food, and it's like they're expected to handle all of the costs of the bachelorette party, and it's like
So it
that
starts
she
adding
wanted
up.
to be fancy on the beach at the, and
it's just, again, here we go. Rita's expectations were so damn high. And again, it's your day. Great. But you gotta be reasonable. The fact that you had 3 out of 15 people come to your bachelorette that people paid for, that speaks volumes.
I think it do speak some volumes.
Volumes.
Let's see what we're doing here. All in all, we were expected to spend at least $1,000 to participate in our friend's wedding. And when we voiced our feelings and concerns, our friendship of many years just ended. I understand that people sometimes go no contact after a big argument, but I feel like this was uncalled for and that the reaction was blown out of proportion. Keeping in mind what Rita went through and how important the wedding was for her, I extended my hand 3 times. I apologized. I signaled that I'm ready to talk one-on-one, and I now know that it's over, and I will probably never hear from her, and I never got an apology either. I never would have thought we would end up in a place like this, but here we are. I sometimes feel like I'm in the wrong, and the feelings are still coming back in waves. Sometimes I'm mad, other times I'm sad. I also know that this friendship breakup took an enormous toll on Cleo. If you read all of that chaotic novel up here, thank you. And that is the end of that story. My friend made an absolute fool of himself when confessing his feelings. I don't know how to react.
Ooh, tell him to shut up. I'm just kidding.
oh.
I'm sorry.
If-
Don't tell-
I've had a very tough year with nearly every type of relationship in my life. Romantic and spicy, familial, friendship, professional, you name it. It's all blown up in my face.
Dang, girl.
I've been to therapy. It wasn't great, but I'm trying my best to learn from it and not give into avoidance and self-isolation. So that's the background. By the way, this comes from user Throw a Waffle Away. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, submit them there. So I, female 24, volunteer at an animal shelter several times a week. And there's a regular group that goes at the same time, all of which are older than me. The closest one to my age is male 28. It seemed natural for us to see if we were a good match romantically, but ultimately I'm not feeling anything towards him. And with everything else this year, I'm fine with focusing on myself and being single. We agreed to be friends back in July, and I thought that settled it.
Yeah.
In mixed company, outside of volunteering, obviously, we've had a few drinks and some deep talks, as in absolute trauma dumpage. Usually I'm opposed to this, but I thought being frank would help us be genuine friends and forget about the small amount of time that we consider dating each other. But it turns out, for the past couple of months of having occasional conversations like this, it's only served to make his feelings stronger.
Yeah, it's trauma dumping.
Yeah, that can happen. I feel like you have to put up with like people that you've, like you went on dates with. You can, like you're trying to be friends with them. You got to put up some sort of boundary in how you approach that friendship.
I would say don't trauma dump them.
Yeah.
That too.
More than once, he has told me we need to talk, and in said talks, he told me things like how he appreciates our close friendship, blah, 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 relating to trauma dumping and trust and whatever. Well, last week, during one of our little parties, I was joking about having a crush on someone at work. I wouldn't say this is a real crush. We've never even spoken, and I'm certainly not trying to initiate anything. Is this me? And male 28 bursts out that he's attracted to me and I should stop talking about things like that.
Oh, girl.
Ooh, buddy.
Girl, at this point, we can't be friends with this man.
Yeah. Also, cringe. You don't
Cringe.
do that. That's
Cringe.
that
Cringe.
technique. Anyway, I went beet red and changed the subject. It really peeved me off that he thinks I should censor myself because of feelings he has that I've done nothing to encourage. The next day, of course, I get a text that says, "We need to talk."
No, we don't.
I purposefully skip the shelter, but he insists that he comes over to talk at my parents' house because it's important. So fine, he comes over. Parents were not home, by the way. We chat a bit, and then I ask, how bad is it? He launches into some of his romantic history and how it's so rare to have feelings this strong. And I light up his day. Blah, blah, blah. Well, clearly the energy is not equal here.
Yeah, he's like, I don't freaking care.
OP says, excuse me for being callous, but I've heard this all before. He wants the spicy sleep.
The spicy sleep.
That is what every single relationship and friendship I've had with men boils down to.
Oh, damn.
Oh, that's
okay.
actually...
Well, that's sad.
Yeah,
that's
is-
not necessarily true,
that
but
is sad.
I don't trust this man.
But are all the men you're making friends with previous potential romantic partners?
Yeah.
Maybe just start making some friends that are not in that context, if that's the
Yeah.
case. My male 28 starts crying because I won't just force myself to be with him. I offer him a tissue and he sniffs and asks for a Band-Aid instead because he fell down earlier and scraped his knee. Oh my God. It probably sounds like I'm shaming him for being unmanly, but honestly, I don't even care about the gender. If anyone came to my house crying because they've known me for 3 months and started begging me to get over myself and F them and then ask for a Band-Aid
Yeah.
for the smallest scratch I've ever seen, I'd think they were pathetic.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
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 A little bit. My reaction to this situation is universal, I assure you. I was nicer in person than what I'm being here, but I don't believe for a minute that I can continue our friendship as it was.
No, and you shouldn't. You
Agreed.
shan't.
Yes. Knowing he's this desperate to get me and literally willing to grovel for it, I can't find an ounce of respect for him anymore. And having been around desperate men before, I don't trust him or feel safe. He's latched on to one of my favorite hobbies, which is crochet, which is weird, right? I don't know.
Wait, like he's just starting to crochet, or like he's going to Joann's to see you?
He's like-
He's crocheting
in the yarn
to
aisles.
impress OP.
So he's trying now to make crochet plans to incorporate the crochet into our friendship, but crochet is my favorite way to clear my mind alone. It's pretty obvious that despite everything I said to him, he's betting on patience and ingratiating himself to me by asking me to teach him and make things together. He's playing the long game to get his little his little Long John Silver shining. You know what I'm saying? trying to polish the china. I don't want to have to stop volunteering here to get away from him. And what I learned in therapy encourages me to get past this to maintain the friendship. Am I insane for being this skeptical of his true intentions? Is there anything else I can do to reduce his attraction? Or is my pre-therapy instinct right to just a GTFO ASAP? And there is an update, but before Sophia, like, what do you think about that, Sophia?
Here he's already outright said, I like you. And you've said no. And so at this point, I think you say like, hey, please stop. I have I don't even have interest in being friends with you, honestly. You could be like, I don't want like,
It's true.
like
So
I'm fine with talking to you at this place, but like I don't want to hang out with you one-on-one.
just an acquaintance.
I would say the relationship here, there's no more. It's not a friendship anymore.
No.
It's just a weird ship.
So, before I made my original post, I already had plans with a mixed group, including Male 28. Before I dive in, I just want to thank everyone that shared their experiences with ill-informed therapy, social anxiety, boundaries, and struggles similar to mine. I wish I was in a place where I could trust my gut without other input, but at least there are kind, encouraging people out there. Oh, that's sweet. So, unfortunately, the other people canceled. It was not on purpose. It's just that things fell apart on their end, and I ended up being alone with Male 28. It was okay. Later on in the day, some of the others did show up and we were playing around with those little TikTok tarot readings, just being silly. When it was my turn, the video that came up, of course, was all about love and romance. And I was like, ugh, there's no way. This makes me want to gag. Male 28 immediately burst into tears
No!
in front of everyone.
That's embarrassing.
Because I wish you had said that the other night that I make you want to gag. To be fair, there were some shots involved before this, but still, I generally had a good day and wanted to keep the vibe, so I basically had to talk him down, also in front of everyone. And then once everyone left, he pulled me aside, shocker, huh? And I had to reiterate again that the stupid TikTok thing is literally just TikTok. My reaction was not about him and had to defend my entire position in life. Again, then he asked if he could prove himself to no longer make a scene by helping me study for university. I said I wasn't sure, but obviously I'm not going to do that. Yeah, it's hard enough to focus on school without a weepy baby having tantrums next to me and probably checking me out when I'm not looking. So it's sad and it's I have to change my whole shift now, but I managed to find some other volunteer shifts that work with my schedule, but it's cutting down to 1 day a week. I told the coordinator why and that I would like my new schedule to be private if possible, and they agreed to take me off the email list and just know when I'm coming in. I feel bad complicating her job and also ditching the other volunteers, but at least I still get to see the animals I've grown warm to. I alluded to this being a pattern in my life in my previous post and comments, but truly this guy takes the cake. There he is. There's the cake. There he is.
It's a freaking cake.
Okay. He really believes that every single thing I have to say revolves around him, like he takes up space in my head. Well, he does in a negative way. This week, things seriously escalated on his end, and I'm already tired of it. Surprise, surprise, male 28, I've actually lived an entire life without you, and I will continue to do so. Sorry you're so insecure that your life can be totally encompassed by someone else this easily. By the way, you can totally encompass your life with stories just like this.
It's like this one.
All you got to do is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from and search OK Storytime. And there you will find the whole catalog to browse through.
Catalog.
Okay, so let's finish this off. It is sad, but I doubt he will change. The tactic of cry and then guilt into more of what I want is super easy to do. He sees every activity I do alone joyfully as an opportunity to commandeer that time and make it about him. I was nervous at first that he'd end up seeing this. I think he uses Reddit as well, but to be honest, I don't care anymore. Under Phil Collins type stuff. If he does see this, maybe seeing my side, because clearly he cannot listen, might shock him into acting like a normal adult person.
Yeah, this guy freaking
We have some comments here, but before we read them, like, what do you say OP is in the right to do here? I mean, like, clearly.
Literally, I think you can go up to me and like, I don't want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
I barely want to interact with you. I don't think you have to say like
You just got to say,
I
leave
do-
me alone.
Yeah, like I say like, hey, you're making me really uncomfortable. I do not want to hang out with you outside of that. I'm fine with being your friend here, but that's it.
No.
I'm going to block you.
You gave him the entrance there.
I'm fine with talking. I'm fine
with literally seeing you pass
I'm fine
by.
with you being here, but that's it.
I won't have an issue with you in my proximity, but I don't want to be friends with you. I don't
At all.
want to date you because you have made weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Facts.
Don't text me.
Don't give him an out.
Don't call me. Don't come by my house.
We're done. Comment 1. This guy is a pathetic creep. Hey guy, if you stumble across this poor lady's Reddit, please know multitudinous people, many of them women, think you're a super pathetic creep.
True.
You did not deserve for this guy to ruin something you enjoyed either. I hope he gets abducted by aliens and returned to his creepy home planet.
Hey.
Comment number 2. I kind of was this guy for a few years in my 20s, minus the drama.
Ew, what happened, dude?
Caught feelings for basically every girl in my social circle.
Every girl in your social circle?
The only thing that really helped me was distance or completely cutting contact. If he offers you to help you with university, it definitely won't be as a friend. OP replies, yeah, his career has nothing to do with what I'm studying anyway. He just latches onto things I do alone and tries to make it so that we can spend that time together. He even said once, long ago, not this week, that he's ruined friendships by being too available before. Learned anything from that, buddy? Seems like a no. And that is the end of that story.
That's the freaking end of the story,
It
man.
is.
Yeah.
OP.
You need to be straightforward with this man because he is not getting the hints.
Sophia, do we need to be friends with everybody?
No, we don't need to be friends with everyone.
And you can tell them in a polite-ish way, ish.
Or you can
Don't give them don't give them anything that could be a crack in the door.
Or a B, you don't even have to say anything, I suppose.
Well, it might be nice to say something.
You could just avoid it.
I left my best friend's wedding halfway through.
Was it boring?
I, 25 female, I've been best friends with Kara, 26 female, since we were like 13. We've been through everything. High school drama, bad breakups, moving to different cities, all of it. When she got engaged last year, I was genuinely thrilled for her. She asked me to be the maid of honor, and I said yes without even thinking.
Lovely.
Maybe you should have thought about it. By the way, this comes from Enthusiastic Tree 28, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Now, here's where things get messy. Kara met her now husband, Evan, about 3 years ago. I've never been his biggest fan, not because he's done anything terrible to me personally, but because he has his way of subtly belittling Kara in front of people. Like, she tells a story, and then he'll cut in with, "That's not how it happened," or "You're being dramatic." I've brought it up to her before, gently, and she just says, "That's how he jokes." Fine, whatever.
Okay.
Leading up to the wedding, I was heavily involved, planning the bachelorette, running errands, making sure she ate on the day of because she was stressed as heck. The actual wedding started fine, but little things started to pile up. First, Kara's mom pulled me aside in the morning and basically told me not to outshine the bride in any way.
Presumably she's wearing the dress that y'all gave her.
I was wearing the dress Kara picked,
Yeah.
so that threw me off.
I'd be like, am I supposed to change? I'm confused. Do I look good? Is that what you're saying?
Thank you. Put a hat on. Then at the reception, Evan gave his speech and thanked his brother, who he said was basically the best man and maid of honor combined.
Dang. I'd be like, excuse me? I look at my best friend, I say, you would have let him say that?
And then you could make a joke in your speech being like, "I am the best man and maid of honor," and then joke, and then he's not going to take it well.
Yeah. I'm like the best man and the maid of honor combined. And then they're like, how dare you say that?
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes. He didn't mention me at all. I laughed it off because maybe it was just nerves. But I saw a couple of people at my table give each other a look. During the bouquet toss, Kara jokingly aimed it directly at her cousin instead of tossing it normally. Then it turned to me, said loud enough for people to hear, "Well, you'll be single forever anyway." And everyone started laughing too.
Wow, if my friend said that, I would start crying.
and then you do that. Yeah, like that.
If my friend said that, I'd be sobbing. I wouldn't be able to stop it either. I'd be like, why did you say that?
Dude, if my friend said that, I'd be like, "At least I don't got a ball and chain now."
Dang.
Which was worse?
You don't have a lot to work with. You got to be quick with them.
You really do. I laughed it off, but it kind of hurt. The final straw was during the dancing. I was at the bar chatting it up with a mutual friend, and Evan's brother came up to me and said, "Hey, God told me to tell you not to hog the attention on the dance floor. You're making her uncomfortable." Sorry, man, I'm just throwing ass like there's no tomorrow.
Well, he can't do a single thing right.
So what? Those girls the other day, they were going at it.
Oh, yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah, they were fun. We went to the concert, the show that we went to on the rooftop bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we met these two girls, and they were so fun. They were dancing with
it
us.
up right beside of us. I haven't been dancing weird or anything, just normal wedding fun stuff. But apparently me existing in her orbit was now a problem? I went to find Kara to ask what the deal was, but she brushed me off with, "Can we not do this right now? It's my day."
Why are you starting so many problems?
At that point, I felt like I was just not wanted there. I spent months planning this wedding, paid for travel, address, gifts, and now here I was being treated like I was crashing the party. So I told her I wasn't feeling well and left before dessert. Real quick, if you don't start looking at why you're there,
Yeah.
she's using you to plan the wedding,
Yeah.
to do all these things, and then now you're like, "Don't be so pretty, don't dance, don't be fun."
She's jealous of you. She's so jealous.
You can't be cool. It's
She's
my
so
wedding.
jealous. It's crazy.
Well, I got home, my phone blew up with text from Kara. At first it was, "Where'd you go?" Then, "I can't believe you ditched my wedding." And finally, "Everyone's asking where my maid of honor went. Do you know how bad this makes me look?"
Not, hey, are you okay? You said you weren't feeling well. What's going on?
I explained I felt very unwelcomed, and she said I was being selfish and making it all about me on her wedding day. I didn't respond after that. Now a couple of mutual friends are saying I overreacted and that weddings are stressful, and people say mean things that they don't mean.
Then they gotta figure out how to apologize because doesn't matter what day it is.
Yep, and real quick, Sophia, is OP the a-hole?
No, she was mean. She bullied you at her wedding that you helped her, plan pretty much entirely. And I don't care if it's her wedding day. Maybe it's high stress, but she still has to own up to her actions.
Jim, don't be a nasty person when you won't look bad. Silly. Yeah, this is so weird. She's just trying to find any way she can poke fun at you.
Yeah, she just wants you to look bad.
Comment number 1 says, not the a-hole, but have we considered that the groom may not like you because of what she has said to him about you? He says, honestly, I haven't thought of that. I mean, I've never had any big fights with him or anything, but I guess it's possible. Kara never hinted at saying anything negative about me, though. But then again, I wouldn't really know if she had. A reply says, I used to have a friend whose husband absolutely hated me. It never made sense until she finally admitted that she had been constantly talking to me to the point he was jealous of me. She was always a mess, and I spent most of our relationship taking care of her. So she would point out his flaws while saying how much better I was/would be in a given situation. It was effing weird. But our other friends used to call her Hedra, from single white female, because they could always see she was, obsessed. You have no way of knowing what she said about you, but you do have an inkling giving that her mother and his brother said to you. I would walk away from this relationship. She's mean and dismissive, not the a-hole.
I agree.
If someone's your significant other's always talking trash about someone else, what is their opinion of them going to be?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Say it again.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What did you mean?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, then.
Period.
I agree.
Sure.
Precisely.
Glad we cleared that up.
Comment 2, not the a-hole. If she wanted you there, she should have treated you with basic courtesy. That means if she had an issue with your behavior, she should have sat down like an adult with you and explained what her problem was. Not send her flying monkey mom and brother-in-law to tell you she said, then blow you off when you try to talk to her about it. Notice she didn't say she was hurt or upset that you left. She said it made her look bad.
Yup.
And it should. But she wasn't concerned about anyone's feeling or state of your friendship. She was concerned about her reputation. You have a friend problem here, not a friend-husband problem. If she valued your friendship, she wouldn't let him treat you so crappy or make digs at you in front of an audience. It doesn't matter. At least it's someone else this time. She should have told him that you were off limits, and she should have talked to you if she was insecure about something. If you want to try salvaging this friendship, invite her to coffee, clear the air. Explain to her that you're not her husband's emotional one-twoing bag. You are not in love with him, and you are not putting up with this crap. And if she has a problem, she needs to cowgirl up and tell you herself and explain what exactly is going on, and not to involve multiple third party or which about you behind your back. This isn't elementary school, and you aren't playing telephone. If she can't handle an adult relationship where everyone is treated with courtesy and people communicate, then you're moving on. Thanks for the memories, but you're an adult and you can socialize with adults.
Yeah.
We have an update.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can tell her again and be like, hey, you know what? Didn't appreciate. I don't care if it was your wedding day. Can't treat me like that and expect that I'm just gonna take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how was somehow this day about you, OP?
Yeah.
It's wild.
Like, you didn't do anything wrong. You did so much work, and she was like, you're making this all by yourself. How?
How? Are morning weddings bad?
Depends what time. What do you mean by
time?
morning? Yeah.
Like 10:30.
Wasn't like I've been to some after
That's in,
10:30
the
afternoon
the
weddings.
Church service.
Yeah, I've
Or,
been to something that starts at 10:30 and then the wedding is afternoon.
Yeah.
Or the
is that what you're
reception
talking
is
about?
afternoon. I mean.
Are you talking about the wedding, the parties at 10:30?
No. The things at 10:30, and then you have lunch.
Yeah, that's
I've
that
been to
happens.
stuff
I don't
like
think that's fine.
So we have an update.
Oop.
After the wedding incident, I decided to take a step back from Kara completely. I didn't block her, but I stopped initiating any contact. Probably realized you were the only one initiating contact, unless Kara wanted something.
Yeah. I missed that sentence. What did it say?
I said, I didn't block her, but I stopped initiating any contact.
Oh, yeah. And this whole time, yeah. You've been putting in all the work of this friendship.
She eventually called me a few hours after I made the post, clearly trying to play the victim. She said she couldn't believe I left her wedding over nothing, and that she's never been so humiliated by a friend. I told her very calmly that I did not appreciate being told multiple times throughout her wedding day that I was outshining her when all I was doing was existing. I pointed out that I followed the dress code, danced like everyone else, and never once tried to make the event about me. She tried to say it was just banter when she made that comment about me never getting married. But I reminded her it wasn't just that. It was her mom warning me before the wedding not to steal the spotlight, her sending her husband to tell me to stop dancing so much, and then blowing up my phone the moment I left. I told her if she really believed I was stealing the spotlight simply by being there, she needs to look inward and figure out why she feels so insecure.
All I gotta say
Good.
is, like,
Stuff.
weddings are supposed to be fun,
Yeah.
and if there's the fun police at a wedding,
Literally, if
I'm
someone's
still
coming
gonna
up
do
to,
it.
Yeah, if someone's coming up to me and being like, "You're dancing too much," I'd be like, "What?"
I love dancing at weddings.
Me too.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how to dance at a wedding. I'm gonna
At a
boogie
party,
down.
yeah.
Hold it down.
If someone tells me to stop dancing or like stop being yourself at at an event, I'll be like, no, I'm gonna keep doing
Haha,
it.
that's so funny. I won't be doing that.
I'm gonna set up
OP
a dance party right now
Yeah.
on the dance floor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna poach all of your guests, and we're gonna go to my dance party.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
We're gonna footloose.
Yeah, no, but OP, that was a great response. Good job.
Yeah.
Stand up for yourself.
Do it, girl. The conversation didn't go well. She accused me of being jealous of her marriage, which is laughable because I would never want to marry someone like her husband, who didn't even have the decency to mention his wife's best friend in his speech after a decade of friendship. I told her I don't want to be in a relationship where I have to shrink myself to make her feel better. We haven't spoken since. From what I've heard through mutual friends, she's been telling people that I stormed out of her wedding to cause drama. Luckily, most people were there and saw how ridiculous that is. The comments on my original post really solidified that I wasn't crazy for feeling humiliated. I'm glad I walked away because if someone's wedding is the peak of their self-esteem and they can't handle someone else existing in the same room, that's their issue, not mine. And we will definitely have an issue with you if you don't go to your favorite podcast platform after this, search up OK Storytime, and listen to more stories like this on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify.
Do it. I'm gonna have an issue
Clear the air right now.
right now.
Sophia, we got a little bit left here. We have an edit.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
I think that you just gotta cut the ties with, with your friend. She sucks. Kara, she made a fuss about her wedding. She clearly has some insecurity about you being into her husband. I don't know where that's coming from. Probably something the husband's saying about you.
Yeah.
And she feels a little jealous now. More than a little. But I think that, you told her how you feel. She still refuses to own up to her actions. So bye.
Adios.
Peace out.
Edit. A lot of people are asking me why the husband would have to mention me in his wedding speech. He doesn't. It makes a lot of sense why so many people are asking this. It was mentioned in the first post, but the quote, Evan gave his speech and thanks his brother, who he said was basically the best man and maid of honor combined. I hope this clears any doubts. Another thing a lot of people were questioning was why her family was asking me not to dim her light. I have no idea. I'm an introvert and almost always hate it when the attention is on me. A lot of people assumed I was an attention hogger or something. I could not imagine anything worse. Kara is honestly super insecure, and even though I think she's beautiful, during our friendship, she always compared her looks to mine. There it is.
Yep. She's
There it is.
always been jealous of you. You're gorgeous.
God forbid she got one pimple. She would constantly talk about it and compare herself to me.
Exhausting. Exhausting type of friendship.
That's-
Good riddance.
That makes sense why there's so
Yeah.
many. They went up to you so many times.
Mm-hmm. She's trying to compete with you, and you're like, you don't even know about the competition.
Yeah.
You're like, huh?
And
I've
what
just been
sucks,
being your friend.
and the part that sucks is like, Kara got what she wanted out of you.
Yeah.
Wedding planning
She
and all
got
that
you
stuff.
to plan her wedding. She got you to leave her wedding.
Yeah.
She only cared that you left the wedding because other people were like, where'd your maid of honor go?
And she got you to be the villain of the wedding.
Yep.
Perfect. Trifecta.
Perfect. That's all she wanted.
Gosh.
Boy, oh boy, that's the end of that story. My boyfriend's friends gave him a gift that crossed the line, so I exposed them. Oh, what? My boyfriend, 31 male, and two of his friends, Carl, 25 male, and Jasper, 31 male, went on a trip to Mexico. While there, his friend Carl decided to gift my boyfriend and Jasper. My boyfriend felt obligated to sleep with her and did? But this post isn't about what my boyfriend did. That's something I'm trying to figure out myself in therapy. By the way, this comes from Spicy Worker Explosion. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/somewhere. But we got the story from OP. So some backstory on Carl and Jasper. They're both pretty crappy people. Jasper is married, but he and his wife are non-monogamous. Cool. None of my business. However, before they got married, Jasper had a year-long affair with one of his wife's enemies. Yikes. She found out about a separate affair a couple of months before their wedding, but decided to stay. she still didn't know about the affair with her enemy. My understanding is that they are very happy together, are poly, and have a third, and are in the process of trying to buy a house and get pregnant. Jasper's wife gave him a free pass to do whatever he wanted on this vacation. Carl, on the other hand, has been cheating on his girlfriend since day one. He crashed with my boyfriend a couple of nights when he came to town and brought home a girl, not his girlfriend, and had spicy sleep with her. He says he did it because his girlfriend was just starting fights out of nowhere. He was only staying with her because she was watching his house and dog while he was out of town, and that he was going to break up with her as soon as he got back home. That was 8 months ago, and they are still together. He's still cheating every chance that he gets. He planned this Mexico trip as a vacation to screw as many girls as he could. I met his girlfriend once, and once there was a face to the cheating, I started feeling guilty. However, out of loyalty to my boyfriend, I kept my mouth shut. So after I found out about the cheating, I told my boyfriend that I no longer felt any sense of loyalty to his friendship with Carl, and I was going to tell his girlfriend about everything that I knew. He asked me not because of his relationship with Carl, but because Carl's girlfriend knows about the affair with Jasper's wife's enemy. Jasper is my boyfriend's best friend, and my boyfriend would get blamed for the end of his marriage. I told him I was probably going to do it anyway. If Jasper didn't want his marriage to end, he shouldn't have done what he did. I told the girlfriend, and everything blew up. Carl's girlfriend reached out to Jasper's wife and told her everything. Then Carl and Jasper were attempting to point fingers at anybody but themselves. My boyfriend was incredibly angry at me and told me that I just ruined his friendship with Jasper and ended Jasper's marriage, all out of spite. My boyfriend told me that I'm an evil person for ending 2 other relationships because I'm upset with my own. I told him I don't feel guilty at all. It's not like I'm making up lies. My boyfriend, Carl, and Jasper's behavior is what is ending the relationship. After typing all this out, I realized that it's just all an effed up situation. I know what you all are going to say. Birds of a feather flock together. All 3 of them are bad eggs and I should throw them all out. But I'm starting to feel a little guilty about Jasper and his marriage, so I wanted to get some outside opinions. Was I wrong in telling Carl's girlfriend what I knew? And there is an update. What do you think?
No, you're not wrong.
This is the most
They
obvious,
did this to
easy answer
themselves.
I've ever seen.
Now, can we go back to what
When
your
you were
story?
cheated on.
Please?
Girl, you were cheated on. Like,
Please, let's go back to that one.
I know all of the freaking comments are saying, girl, what?
Excuse
Sorry? You stayed with the guy who cheated on you and you're asking if you're at fault? Yeah, it seems like the second that you knew about all of the cheating with the friends, you called them out on it and, informed
Right.
them. So you're no longer the a-hole, but you're a self a-hole. Why are we staying with the guy that cheated on you out of
Get outta
obligation?
here. Get out.
Get out. Update. There wasn't an earlier update because I was embarrassed that I stayed with him and tried to make things work for 2 months. We've been to couples counseling in our individual get-to-know-you session. The counselor tried to convince me to leave him for 95% of the session, and he has pulled me back, and every time I try to leave with promises of things getting better. It's not that easy to leave a harmful relationship, especially when they start doing things they've never done before in an effort to change. He made me a crappy person. I felt that since he is a cheating, harmful boyfriend, I had a right to always get my way and have acted like a witch. My friends, both those who know and those who don't know about his behavior, have told me I'm a shell of who I used to be. This all blew up when he wanted to go skating and I didn't. He wanted to go alone, but I just couldn't trust him. He said he was going to go with or without me. I felt backed into a corner where my options were to break up or go with him, so I went. I wasn't in the best mood when we got there. He started to berate me for being in a bad mood, asking me if I was even going to try to have a good time. I was reading through the comments of the last Reddit post. I do it when I feel like he's manipulating me to try and get the strength to leave. And he asked to see what I was reading. He realized what I was reading and told me he wanted to break up. It felt like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. He's currently in Vegas. He has mentioned his single friends were going earlier this week, and it was all sad, telling me that he knew he couldn't go because it wasn't safe. Realizing now the manipulative guy just started this fight so he could go to Vegas, and he expects me to welcome him back home with open arms, which is what I keep doing over and over again. I thought that you guys would enjoy the list. This girl would enjoy the list of things this guy has done. he had a girlfriend when we met. They were supposed to move to LA together, and he moved a couple of weeks before her to start work while she packed up the house for them. He asked me to be exclusive during this time. She got to LA when he was out of town, and he broke up with her by asking her to take out the trash can that had used protection in it. I found out about this 2 months after she had left and decided to stay with him. He cheated on his ex all the time. He unknowingly got an STD while cheating and gave it to her. She got tested and kept it a secret. He didn't have any outbreaks and she just had one and didn't tell him until she left LA. He kept all this from me even though we started having unprotected spicy sleep and I kept begging him to get tested. Like at this point, we're 2 months in.
We're 2 months in. You now know that you were the side relationship and that you might have something from him.
Thankfully, I didn't get it despite him refusing to use protection. It decreases his quality of life.
Boo-hoo. You can go cry about it.
Wait, I'm sorry. I read that one more time. That made zero sense.
I
The
didn't
protection
get it.
doesn't feel as good for
Oh.
him.
What?
You can go cry about it a little bit.
OP, what are we doing?
And being super irresponsible with his antiviral meds. After sleeping with the spicy worker in Mexico, he slept with another girl twice. When asked about it, he said our relationship was over, so why not? Another fight he started, physically blocking me from leaving. I threatened to call the police, and he got all offended, telling me he wasn't trying to hurt me, but there would be nothing for the police to find if I called them. Picked fights so that he could go out and drink with his friends. When I tried to tell him how I felt like he was playing games and being manipulative, he told me he was offended that I would think that of him and that the fights were valid and he just happened to go out afterward. He's in the solid 6-figure range but is horrible with money. He doesn't believe in retirement or savings.
How does
You
this
found
man
a
exist?
gem of a man.
This is a real person?
His baby mama gave him a break and doesn't even accept his full child support payments that were calculated when he made a fraction of what he makes now.
Well, it's like
He's a deadbeat dad.
we get so many big red flag details about this man, and you decided to stay with.
He tells me he resents me for paying for less than what he feels is fair, despite the fact that he has higher costs of living than I do. He talks down to me for how I eat and shop at discount grocery stores and tells me he can afford to exclusively shop at Whole Foods and spend $50 on lunch every day if he wants. He moved in with me to save money, and because traffic from his place was horrible, he agreed to split rent based on income. He makes more than twice what I make. Even paying more, his rent is half of what he paid before. After moving in, he told me that the agreement was unfair and he thought we should split rent. I told him I couldn't afford half the rent and maybe a compromise was moving somewhere cheaper where I could afford half. His response was that he spent too much money to move and the only way we could move is if I paid for all moving costs. I also brought up the point that we pay for a second bedroom for his son, but since he's only here over the summer, maybe we can Airbnb out the room. His response was that he didn't want people in and out of his house, and his son is part of the package of dating him. So I should be responsible for some of the costs of his son, too. During the last couple of weeks when we were talking about possibly breaking up, he told me I needed to get out of the house because he paid too much money to move in. He recouped all moving costs months ago, and he was going to try to punt me out. I lived in this house for a year before he did. Before he moved in, he would try to put me down by telling me how much of a piece of crap where I lived was, and how sad it was that I was a working professional living somewhere that was no better than a dorm. He had an agreement with his baby mama to not introduce anybody to his son unless it was serious. As soon as baby mama got engaged, he broke the rules, saying, I only made that rule because her judgment can't be trusted. We were invited to his baby mama's wedding, and he asked me to be there for moral support. He hinted at paying for both of us to go. He delayed buying the tickets, despite me constantly asking him to book them. He then asked me to pay for my ticket. I told him I couldn't afford the tickets, and he told me I was a terrible partner who he couldn't depend on. He gets his son over summer and Christmas break and cries every time the son leaves because he feels guilty and selfish. But he doesn't actually do anything about it. I planned an amazing summer for us at his request, filled with different summer camps, volunteering, excursions, and vacations. He didn't follow through with a single thing other than taking us on a last-minute road trip the weekend before his son left. He pressured me to babysit his son after less than 2 months of dating so he could go out and drink with his friends. He has a high-stress job at a startup. I try to decrease his stress by cleaning, cooking, and running errands for him so that he can spend his free time doing things that matter to him. When we're good, he tells me how much he appreciates my efforts. When I ask him for anything that he doesn't want to do, he gets angry and asks me what I've ever done for him. I point out the errands, and he says it doesn't count because you never asked me to do those things.
OP.
Yeah.
You're doing this to yourself.
OP.
Listen, I get that when you're so into it, it's hard to see any of that as being bad. But now you seem to have a pretty solid list and a pretty good head on your shoulders. So if this doesn't end with you leaving this man and evicting him or you leaving, I'm gonna be upset with you, OP.
I'm already upset at OP.
But this is, I'm hoping, written enough in the past that she's realized. Because it is hard when you're in the thick of it and someone is berating you that much and gaslighting you that much and just being genuinely awful to you. You start to think like, oh my God, what if this is me kind of thing.
I have to say, this guy has to be like super duper hot. There's no way.
No, he's probably still butt ugly.
Yeah,
he's probably just that good at manipulating people.
That's what I'm
insane.
confused.
Yeah,
like,
I'm so confused. Like, what's?
If this is how his personality is, there's no way he's hot. Butt ugly to match your butt ugly personality.
No, I'm just like, the fact that like he showed who he was, or you found out who he was 2 months into it, like
he probably also love bombed her too.
Yeah,
It's probably a rough thing.
No. And he says it doesn't count because he's never asked me to do those things. He needs constant reassurance from others to feel like a man. He enjoys the attention he gets from females and will act single when he goes out without me. We had discussions about this and how uncomfortable it makes me, and he tells me that I do a great job of making him feel wanted, but sometimes he just needs to know he can take the model at the bar home. But it's okay because he doesn't actually take her home. I hate this story, and there's a little bit left of it.
By the way, me too.
Any final thoughts?
If this doesn't end with you breaking up with this man, I'm gonna have a breakdown.
OP, you made a very extensive list. A very extensive, well-detailed list
cheating on you
of how a piece of crap this human being is. I'm speechless. I have no words to say other than I'm speechless, and that's insane. And that this is a type of human being out there. I don't understand. I don't understand. Just dumbfounded over here.
Unfortunately, there's too many men out there.
And there's a little bit left of this story.
Ah.
He also picked a fight with me so he wouldn't have to come to my best friend's wedding, even though his son was the ring bearer. Tells me he isn't sure he believes in monogamy. When I tell him a huge component of polyamory is the consent of all parties involved, his response is that people who are okay with polyamory are too old and ugly for him. These are just the big events. I'm not including the almost weekly fights during which he tells me that I deserve to be treated how he treats me because I'm a witch. Even after reading all these things over and over and over again, I just want to call him and tell him how much I miss him and how sorry I am. I know it's not true, but it feels like my world has fallen apart, and he's the only one that can put it back together again. I don't have a question, but I need strength and just a platform to share. Thank you for taking time to read this.
OP.
No.
But if you like this good thing, make sure to subscribe.
We love your good thing.
And see you tomorrow.